Good morning, everybody. I guess it's still morning. It's at 10:55 a.m. We're live here at the Dell Diamond. Your Georgetown Eagles getting set to take on the Round Rock Dragons, a battle of teams that are familiar with each other. They've played many a times back in the days of 5A basketball or baseball and rankings for Round Rock. But today, the 6A Dragons take on your 5A number 20th ranked Georgetown Eagles in baseball. But now a nice visit with Kelly Duvall here live at the Dell Diamond. Thanks to the two-step in, commandeering the parking lots at the schools for the shuttles. And Kelly, what a battle here today. Two teams coming in on win streaks, 13 for Georgetown, 11 for Round Rock. A battle here as they prepare for the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is an important game. It's not a district game, obviously, but this is a game that helps these guys get tuned up. A really good 6A baseball team in the Round Rock Dragons. Georgetown playing really good baseball right now, just come off of a big series, so it's going to be really interesting to see how both these teams react today, with weather being a little bit of a factor.
Georgetown out of the first base dugout will be the visitors today. They are in the baby blue uniforms with white Eagles in script lettering across the front. White numerals outlined in the Georgetown blue on the back with the white helmets. Pants down all the way to the ankle tops as Jordan Vieira visits at the home plate with a four-man umpire crew. Coach John Carter for the Round Rock Dragons as well at the plate. The Dragons in the third base home dugout in the white pinstripe pants, white pants with maroon pinstripes, and the maroon jerseys, white numerals, and the Round Rock RR logo with the white hats, maroon bill. Georgetown comes into the ballgame 18-9-1 off of a brand new district championship last night. They're 12-0 in district. What a ball game last night. The Eagles win it in walk-off fashion at home over the Eastview Patriots 2-1 in the bottom of the seventh inning. I tell you what, the series MVP, we got to talk to him after the ball game. I called him the series MVP because he was responsible for a lot of things that happened in that ball game in the two-game series. And Kelly, what a performance by Luke Hawley. What ended up being the game-winning base hit, 2 RBI base hit on Tuesday night, and then comes in last night a bunt single that scores the game-tying run, steals second base, and then scores on the walk-off base hit by Jack Kiki to make it a 2-1 ball game. But that wasn't enough. He got the win on the mound coming in the seventh inning, facing the minimum 3 batters, 2 strikeouts, 10 pitches thrown to get the win.
When you're going against the crosstown boys, the guys you've known for your whole life, grown up with, probably played baseball with, and after the game we saw some of the players that knew each other chatting, hugging each other, and that camaraderie that's there. But it's a rivalry game, and Luke just came up big in those 2 games last week.
The Georgetown Eagles, the way they sit, they are the district champions of 5A Region 3 District 23 at 12-0. But they still have 2 games remaining. Coach Vieira talked about checking the boxes. They checked the first box. They qualified for the playoffs. They just checked the second box last night when they won the district championship. Now they want to check box number 3, and they want it to be an undefeated district season. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, the starting lineups for today's ball game. Georgetown baseball continues in a moment.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Longtime supporter of our broadcast, Matt Morrow, and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible. They do that by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including a handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from experienced loan officers. Matt and his team of loan officers understand the local markets, have access to a wide variety of loan programs, and are ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148.
The Round Rock Dragons, the home team today, are coached by head coach John Carter. Varsity assistant is Ray Rodriguez. The starting lineup is selected by head coach John Carter for the Round Rock Dragons today. Leading it off at shortstop, number 2, Hudson Ellis. Batting second to DH number 11, Connor DeGaswaldo. Batting third, the catcher number 22, Chris Ossobrooks. Batting fourth, the center fielder number 3, Nicholas Dunch. Batting fifth, the second baseman, number 5, Dylan Goddard. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 14, Jacob Gaiman. Batting seventh, the first baseman, number 26, Jake Staritz. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 4, Luke Kimstedt. And batting ninth, the pitcher, number 30, Isaac Rodriguez. So it'll be Ellis, DeGaswaldo, also Brooks in the top third, Dunch, Goddard, and Gaiman in the middle third, Staritz, Kimstedt, and Rodriguez in the bottom third for the Round Rock Dragons. For your Georgetown Eagles, head coach Jordan Vieira, assistant coaches Chad Payne, David Durrell, and assisted by James Key and Frank Anzuris. The starting lineup today on the mound and batting first, number 17, Devin Peterson. Batting second in center field, number 10, Andrew Nations. Batting third, the first baseman, number 21, Riley Leiniger. Batting fourth, the catcher, number 16, Reese Herrera. Batting fifth, the DH, number 7, Hayden Grooms. Batting sixth, the third baseman, number 6, Luke Holly. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 11, Jackson Rainey. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 4, Cord Lawrence. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 20, Jack Kiki. So it's Peterson, Nations, and Leiniger in the top third. Herrera, Grooms, Holly in the middle third. Rainey, Lawrence, and Kiki in the bottom third for the Eagle lineup today. But, Kelly, we're talking about that. Coach talks about that. He talked about it Tuesday night. He talked about it last night. At the coaches show, we talked about it. Checking boxes. There's one more box to check before the playoff run starts, and that box to be checked, and that's to go undefeated in district. With 2 games remaining, Bastrop at home for senior night on Tuesday, at Bastrop on Friday night, and Bastrop has a lot to play for. They're in a tie for 4th place in district.
The reason why the coaches have those goals set in front of the players is a situation just like Georgetown's in. This team, they've won the district championship, but you don't need a letdown right now. You've got to keep playing good quality baseball, and the only way to do that is to have some goals and some targets, and that's exactly what Coach Vieira has done with this team.
And we talked about it last night in the interview after the ball game with Coach Vieira, and it was talking about the fact that these 2 games battle-tested against Eastview, and the best shots you got from Eastview on the pitching performances from Reyes and Kirchhoff were beneficial to this team. That's what you're going to see, and that's what. And Luke Colley talked about that in his interview after the ball game. Was this is what we're going to see, and this shows us that we can stay in a ball game and be down the whole game and still fight and persevere through that adversity and come out on top. And that's what we need, and that's a good thing for us to face this week. And we know we're going to get the best shots from Bastrop next week. And so Bastrop has a lot to play for. Eastview playing for a playoff spot as well. So it'll be important for the Georgetown Eagles to go and play the Bastrop Bears in a tight game. Quick timeout. We go to the national anthem here on SHN Sports. We get ready for the top of the first inning. Georgetown bringing up the top 3 in the lineup. Peterson, Andrew Nations, and Riley Leiniger. Having some crowd mic issues, so we'll go back to our crowd mic here as we get set up at this beautiful Dell Diamond home of your Round Rock Express. 330 down the left field line. 375 right in front of the home bullpen. 407 to the farthest nook there at the left center field at the left at the batter side. 400 to straight dead away center field in the batter's eye. 407 to that right side of the batter's eye in center field. And then come all the way around to 325 down the right field line in this all-grass surface, dirt infield, and a beautiful stadium it is, home of your Round Rock Express. But today, home, the battle of about 16 or 18 miles apart, the Georgetown Eagles and the Round Rock Dragons. Going first on the mound will be number 30. That is Isaac Rodriguez, the right-handed pitcher for the Round Rock Dragons. Rodriguez, 6 foot, 230-pound sophomore, starts out today on the mound from the right side as he finishes up his warm-ups. And you love the playoff atmosphere as you see the pitching staff head out to the bullpen out there in right field for
Look
Georgetown.
like lonely travelers.
They got their backpacks, their shoes in hand, and it's a long way away from home as they head out to the bullpen in right field. But the Round Rock Dragons, a lot of college commits as well. Georgetown with several. Riley Leininger to OU. Cooper Ashby, who came in on Tuesday night, pitched 3 hitless innings in relief, going to Redlands Community College in Oklahoma. And the Dragons, the second baseman, got to talk to his dad, Dennis Goddard, downstairs earlier as Dylan Goddard committed to the University of Dallas. The DH, Diga Swaldo, going as well to another program as well. He's committed to the next level. And so a lot of talent here on this field today between these two teams. Rodriguez out of the windup. Peterson in the right side into the batter's box, the first pitch of the ball game. That one misses low and outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Devin Peterson starting off things here.
There is some wind today, Wally, and it's blowing in towards home plate, so we're not looking for anything driven too far today.
The 1-0 pitch. Misses low and outside, ball 2. The outfielders played about what we saw last night, Kelly, out of Georgetown's outfield, about midway out, expecting that the balls are going to hang up in the wind blowing in their faces. 2-0 pitch, and there's a shot to right center field. Peterson on the run. The right fielder, Slocum, will settle under it and make the catch for out number 1. F9 in the book to retire Devin Peterson, and that'll bring up the left-handed hitting Andrew Nations for your Georgetown Eagles. Nations is the 6'2", 190-pound senior, throws left, bats left, as he steps in here with 1 out. And that one was a good ride given to that one. Slocum settled under it after a long run from the right field position for the catch.
That's one I think you see the wind help kill that ball.
First pitch to Nations, misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Andrew Nations, playing in center field today with Devin Peterson on the mound to start the game for the Eagles. Rodriguez, middle of the plate, the 1-0 pitch. Swinging away, ball shot into left field. The left fielder game it on the run, and he'll make the catch for out number 2, F7 in the book.
On defense for the Dragons today, left field is Gaiman, center field is Dunch, right field is Slocum. At third is Kimstedt, shortstop is Ellis, second Goddard, first is Starritz. The catcher is also Brooks, and on the mound is Rodriguez.
In steps number 21, Riley Leininger. Leininger is 6'2", 220-pound senior, throws right, bats left as he steps in here with the bases empty. And 2 outs in the top of the first. First pitch, it catches the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 to count to Riley Leininger. On deck, Herrera for the Eagles. Should Leininger extend the inning. Rodriguez from the windup. The 1-0 pitch is inside, and that hit him. So it'll be a dead ball, and the Eagles have a 1-out or a 2-out base runner on the hit by pitch. And that one was in a little bit far. So Leininger will head down to first base, and in steps the catcher, Reese Herrera, for the Eagles. Herrera, the 6'1", 190-pound junior. Correction, 190-pound senior. He'll step in from the right side with 2 outs and a runner at first base.
We talked about it yesterday, Wally. Georgetown doing damage with 2 outs.
First pitch from Rodriguez is high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Herrera. Hayden Grooms, the DH, waits on deck. Should Herrera be able to extend the inning? Now I want to see if Grooms will do the Adrian Beltre. He was pointed back to the corner if he's going to pull the mat further back out. 1-0 the count to Reese Herrera. The 1-0 pitch. Line drive hit down the third baseline. It kind of knuckled. It's going to be called a fair ball. The throw across the diamond from Kimstedt is in time. For out number 3, 5-3 on the putout to retire Herrera and the Eagles here in the top of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on base after half an inning. Georgetown 0. Round Rock coming up to bat. Georgetown baseball continues in just a moment.
A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball by First Responder Broadcasting is brought to you by Carissa Bradford, your local Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans, protecting our families since 1952. The mission of Texas Farm Bureau is to help policyholders manage the financial risk of everyday life and successfully recover from insured losses through prompt, professional, personal service based on high ethical standards. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance offers comprehensive insurance policies for auto, home, farm and ranch, commercial, and life. Carissa can help you find the perfect policy to give you peace of mind that you're covered by a trusted and reputable insurer. For all your insurance needs, call Carissa at 512-777-8511 or visit www.tfb-ins.com.
And we go to the bottom of the first inning. On the mound for your Georgetown Eagles is number 17, Devin Peterson, the right-handed pitcher, 6'2", 205 senior. Defensively for the Eagles, Kelly.
Defensively for Georgetown, in left field, Tate Ritchie. Center field, Andrew Nations. Right field is Jackson Rainey. Third base is Luke Holly. Shortstop is Jack Kiki. At second, Cord Lawrence. At first, Riley Leininger. Behind the plate today, Reese Herrera. And on the mound, Devin Peterson.
Stepping in to lead it off for the Round Rock Dragons, number 2, Hudson Ellis. He's a 6'1", 175-pound senior. Bats right, throws right. Will lead it off for the Round Rock Dragons here in the bottom of the first inning. Devin Peterson works out of the stretch from the first base side of the rubber. Comes set. The first pitch here in the bottom of the first inning is outside and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Ellis. Hudson Ellis, Connor DeGaswaldo, and Chris Alsobrooks due up here in the bottom of the first for the Dragons. Peterson comes set, the 1-0 pitch. That one's inside, that hit him. That's a return favor on the nick of the elbow guard. And so, Dragons have a leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the first inning. And in steps number 11, the DH, Connor DeGaswaldo. 6 foot, 168-pound senior. Bats left, throws left. The DH will step in here with the runner on first. No outs, bottom of the first inning. Georgetown, 4 up, 3 down in the top of the first. And now work defensively here. Lead off by Ellis, held on by Leininger. First pitch, a square to bunt. But DeGaswaldo pulls it back and takes it for ball 1. Connor hitting in place of the right fielder, Slocum. The 1-0 pitch stays high for ball 2. 2-0 the count now. Chris Alsobrooks, the catcher, on deck for the Dragons. And here comes Herrera out to visit with his pitcher, Devin Peterson.
Well, we got a little break. I want to welcome everybody on YouTube. Thanks for watching this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball on the SHN Sports Network, brought to you by First Responder Broadcasting. Got several folks listening in, including Austin Graham, owner of Graham & Sons Land and Cattle, big supporter of our broadcast, and we appreciate Austin, not only a supporter but a friend as well, and we're excited to have him listening in.
Maybe some of the best barbecue I've ever eaten. I can't tell you.
Hey, man, he promised the other day he's going to bring us food.
We love football time.
Yeah.
Plenty of room in the booth for that food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peterson now ready to go as he comes set. 2 balls, no strikes. The 2-0 pitch just outside. Ball 3. 3-0 the count out. To DeGaswaldo, the DH for the Dragons. Ellis down at first after being hit by a pitch to lead off the bottom of the first. The 3-0 pitch. Outside corner there for called strike 1. DeGaswaldo will pick his bat back up as he started to drop it and take off to first. Got the outside corner there. Nice pitch by Peterson to stay alive in this at bat. Now Devin comes set. 3-1 count. And that one's hit into left field. That'll be a base hit. Tate Ritchie will come up with it. And that'll move Ellis up to second base. And now back-to-back men aboard here in the bottom of the first. Nice piece of hitting there by DeGaswaldo for the first base hit of the ball game.
First two batters reach base for Round Rock, and as we saw yesterday, runs may be at a premium today, so they're going to want to take advantage of this, and Devin's going to have to do some work to get out of this.
In steps the catcher, number 22, Chris Alsobrooks, 6 foot, 190-pound junior. Bats right, throws right. Steps in with no outs and runners on first and second. Peterson will look at second base. He'll turn, but no throw as Ellis back standing on the bag.
You can guess both these teams are going to be pretty active on the base pass, so if they get base runners, I expect there's going to be some steal attempts all day.
The first pitch to Alsobrooks, inside corner for a called strike one. 0-1 the count. Nicholas Dunch, the center fielder, on deck for the Dragons. Overcast day. The rain has stayed away so far for us. Beautiful day for baseball here at the Dell Diamond. The 0-1 pitch, square to bunt, pulls it back and takes it for ball one. 1-1 now, the count. And like that, Kelly, I think a perfect opportunity for both of these teams, knowing they're going to the playoffs. The Dragons have secured their spot. They're playing for a district championship on Tuesday against Vista Ridge. But both of these teams have a chance to work on things that are going to be prevalent in the playoffs to win tight ball games. And you'll see it here as these two teams battle it out. Peterson comes set, the 1-1 pitch. That one misses low for ball two. 2-1 the count to Alsobrooks. It also makes you wonder how much they'll go to the bullpen, what kind of effort you'll see out of the bullpens as big games on Tuesday to keep those starters ready to go in the district matchups.
And that's exactly why they play these games. You got to keep that crispness.
And there's a base hit into left field. Tate Ritchie up with it. Ellis will be held at third base as the throw comes all the way into Herrera. Nice throw from Tate Ritchie in left field. But the shortstop, Kiki, having to play over, holding the runner on at second base, and right through the 5-6 gap goes the shot for Alsobrooks. Second hit of the ball game, and the base is loaded with no outs. Here for the Dragons, a courtesy runner will come on for Round Rock. I believe it's number 9, Hank Apple. Take a look there as he headed across at a different angle where you couldn't get his number. It is number 9, Hank Apple, on to courtesy run as Nicholas Dunch, the number 4 hitter, steps in with the bases full of Dragons. First pitch from Peterson. Low and outside, ball one. Nick Dunch, 6'1", 180-pound senior. Bats right, throws right, steps back in. The 1-0 pitch from Peterson. And that one misses for ball two. 2-0 the count. With Dylan Goddard, the second baseman, on deck for the Dragons. Dragons come in on their own 11-game winning streak. They have been on a run through district, and they have assured themselves a playoff spot and a battle on Tuesday night against Vista Ridge for that district title in 6A Region 4 District 25. 2-0 pitch, inside corner, called strike one, and now a 2-1 count to Dunch.
It's very interesting. Devin stepped off there just to regroup after that last batter gets on base, and a little bit of frustration may be setting in with him not being able to get any of these first three hitters out.
This one stays inside. Dunch gets out of the way. Would have been an RBI hit by pitch. But he steps out of the way, and the count now 3-1 strike. To Nick Dunch, the center fielder. Nowhere to put him here. Peterson comes set in the stretch. The 3-1 pitch. There's a line drive hit into center field. Nation's on the run. He'll make the catch for out number 1. He'll come up throwing, and that'll score Ellis from third base. So an RBI sac fly there by Nick Dunch puts the first run across for the Dragons. And they lead it 1-0 here. Runners at first and second base with 1 out.
That's a big out. Now you got a double play opportunity here and maybe get out of this without doing too much damage other than this one run. If they can get it, if Peterson can throw some pitches that'll the player hit into a, let's say a 6-4-2 double play.
That might be good. Here we go. Dylan Goddard steps in. He is the second baseman, a 6'1", 170-pound senior committed to the University of Dallas. From the right side, first pitch, inside corner, just misses for ball one. 1-0 the count to Goddard. I just know his commitment due to his dad being a fellow first responder. And talking to him.
This umpire is slow on his calls, so it's kind of hard to tell whether or not He's very cerebral about it, I suppose.
The 1-0 pitch, outside corner, just misses for ball 2, 2-0 the count. To Goddard with Jacob Gaiman, the left fielder, on deck for the Dragons. Wind starting to pick up a little bit more, blowing in from center field. The 2-0 pitch, Goddard a swing and a miss. 2-1 now the count. One out here in the bottom of the first. First runner aboard, Ellis, was hit by a pitch, and then back-to-back singles loaded the bases for the Dragons in a sac fly to F8 in the book. Scored the first run. Runner off and running. Goddard pops it up left field. Tate Ritchie gives chase. The runners are going to have to scramble back, and Ritchie will settle under it for out number 2. So the hit and run on there, and Goddard flies out to left field, F7 in the book. And the runners scramble back to first and second base, and now 2 outs for the Dragons as Jacob Gaiman, the left fielder, steps in. So a good job there for the defense. Now a ground ball in the infield. You step on any bag, get out of it with minimal damage. As number 14, Gaiman steps in, 5'8", 168-pound junior. Bats right, throws right. Steps in here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. The first pitch, check swing, called strike 1. No! He called it a ball. Won the check swing. I thought would have got it alone, but the pitch itself looked like a strike on the inside quarter. Instead, it's 1-0 to the left fielder, Gaiman. The 1-0 pitch from Peterson. Line drive hit down the third baseline, but pulled foul. 1-1 the count now to the left fielder, Jacob Gaiman. On second base, Connor DiGaswaldo. Courtesy runner, Hank Apple, down at first base. Running for the catcher, also Brooks.
Devin's not going to overwhelm, so it's going to be really important for him to hit his spots.
That one's down in the dirt. Both runners advanced there on that wild pitch. Went down to the dirt. Herrera got at least some blockage on it, but it floated away about 15, 20 feet from the home plate. And the runners move up to second and third now on that wild pitch. And a count is now 2-1 to Gaiman. So the defense will have to buckle down here. Any kind of ground ball is going to have to go to first base for the defense. 2 outs and runners at second and third now. 3-1 pitch, inside and low. 2-1 pitch, inside and low for ball 3. 3-1 the count now. Next week's activity for Georgetown baseball, Tuesday night, senior night, back at Eagle Field. They welcome in the Bastrop Bears. Come out and enjoy the night of baseball, recognizing your seniors here on the Eagle baseball team. The 3-1 pitch. That one's inside, dead ball. Say it hit him on the arm. So instead of a walk, it's a hit by pitch to load the bases back up here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. And that'll bring up number 26, Jake Starr. The first baseman. Starr, the 5'11", 185-pound junior. Bats right, throws right, steps in here with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 1 run across in the inning for the Dragons. Peterson comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Starr is in there for a called strike. But come join us Tuesday night. Then on Thursday night, we'll be live at the Mesquite Creek Outfitters for the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. And then Friday night on the road down to Bastrop to take on the Bears in the last game of district play. The 0-1 pitch misses high for ball 1, 1-1. And then a Saturday tilt back at Georgetown to take on the Cedar Ridge Raiders in the final regular season ball game for Georgetown before the playoffs start the following week. The 1-1 pitch, ground ball hit out. It's a chopper. Holly's going to cut it off at third to throw across the diamond in time. And the Eagles get out of it with only 1 run allowed with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base after 1 complete inning. Georgetown 0, Round Rock 1. Eagle baseball continues in just a moment. Now we go to the top of the second inning. 1-0. Round Rock leads it. They loaded the bases a couple of times there in the bottom of the first, Kelly, but only one run across. So the Eagles get out of any more damage done there.
When Devin went to the dugout, coaches patted him on the back, probably said something like, no big deal, we'll get it back.
Hayden Grooms steps in. The first pitch misses for ball one to Grooms. The 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up here in the top of the second. Hayden Grooms, Luke Hawley, and Jackson Rainey to face off against Isaac Rodriguez in his second inning of work. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count. To Hayden Grooms, the DH. Grooms, the 5'10", 180-pound junior, bats right, throws right. Laid down a beautiful bunt last night. 1-1 pitch misses for ball two. Grooms stepped in as Talon Ball was running down at first base, and Grooms laid down a bunt down the first baseline, allowed Talon Ball to get all the way around to third with just the one out. Base hit into right center field. It's down. Grooms has got to circle first, but a good job by Slocum to cut it off and get it in quickly, but a leadoff base runner on board now for Georgetown with their first hit of the ballgame.
With all the trouble the Eagles had in the first inning with the Round Rock offense, this is the way to start, especially whenever you can shut that down and limit it to one run, get a runner on, and now, like I said earlier, I expect Coach Vieira is going to be aggressive on the base paths.
Speaking of aggressive, in steps the third baseman, number 6, Luke Hawley, 6'2", 180-pound junior. First pitch to him. He squares the bunt, pops it up, back behind home plate into the net.
We saw it last night and talked about it last night, the small things in the game, and at that point, the handle of the bat comes up just a little too high, and that's where you get that pop-up.
And not something you see a lot out of Luke Hawley, being in the defensive backfield. The contrast in football, he loves to demolish people in tackles, and in baseball, one of the best bunters on the team. Not often will you see Luke do that. No balls, one strike. He squares the bunt, and Rodriguez will step off immediately. He didn't like what he had going there. So the sophomore pitcher says, nah, we'll reset there. Didn't like that look. Now the third baseman, Kimstedt, plays up on the grass. Hawley squares the bunt again. The 0-1 pitch. He bunts it out in front of the mound. It's going to be good to get the runner up to second base. The throw from Rodriguez in time. But a nice sac bunt there. Now Georgetown has the potential tying run in scoring position with one out here in the top of the second.
And that was a pretty bunt. The grass is a little wet because of the weather, and that ball just kind of died. And he saw it was a great bunt. And they hustled down the lines at this level, and I love that.
Hawley lays down the bunt, Grooms up to second base now with one out here in the top of the second. In steps Jackson Rainey, the right fielder, 6'2", 215-pound senior from the left side. Rodriguez comes set. The first pitch to Rainey. He lays off and takes it for a called strike one. 0-1 the count to Rainey. Rainey, a good night last night, 2 for 2 in the game against Eastview, along with a walk and a stolen base. Had a good ball game last night for Georgetown. Steps in here. An 0-1 count with one out. The first 0-1 pitch. Rainey lays off and takes it low in the dirt for ball one. 1-1 the count here.
A lot of difference in velocity on his fastball and his breaking pitches and changeup. He does a good job of keeping that, and that can keep the hitters off balance if that fastball is really hitting its spot.
Home plate umpire calls time and talks to the Dragon dugout. And now back behind the plate. Not sure what's going on there, but Rodriguez now back on the mound. Works from the first base side of the rubber in the stretch with a runner at second base. Here in the top of the second inning, Rainey a 1-1 count. The 1-1 pitch. That hit him. Now another batter hit by a pitch by Rodriguez. So runners at first and second now for Georgetown with one out. Now that'll bring up the second baseman, number 4, Cord Lawrence. 5'9", 155-pound senior. Bats right, throws right. Will step in here with the runners on first and second and one out in the top of the second. See where the third baseman, Kimstedt, plays at. You may see Lawrence drop down a quick bunt. Grooms off second, Rainey off first. Lawrence in from the right side. Now Rodriguez didn't like what he had, steps off and resets himself. Now we'll get the pitch from the catcher, also Brooks, and comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Lawrence. Nope. A throw back to second base. Grooms. The ball goes off of him. The shortstop Ellis is right there. Grooms a quick pop up and turn. Getting ready in case that ball went into center field. So everyone resets now after the pickoff attempt. Rodriguez will come set and look at second base. The first pitch to Lawrence. Cord takes it high for ball one.
Round Rock has obviously done their homework on the scouting, and they know Georgetown's aggressive on the base pass. We've seen Round Rock be aggressive on the base pass as well, because when those runners moved to second and third, they were moving before the ball ever got away.
The 1-0 pitch to Lawrence. That one's in there for a called strike, like you said. Give the umpire time. You don't know if he's going to call it a strike or ball. And from the angle we're at, a little more difficult to see. But 1-1 count to Lawrence. A 1 out. Runners first and second here in the top of the second. Rodriguez comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Lawrence sends it down the right field line, but that'll curl out of play into the stands. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Jack Kiki, the star of last night, the game-winning RBI single into right field, on deck for your Eagles. Lawrence back in, a choke up here with a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runners at first and second. Rodriguez, the 1-2 pitch. Lawrence a swing and a miss, strike 3 for out number 2. That'll bring up Jack Kiki, the shortstop, the sophomore here on the Eagle team. 5'11", 160-pound sophomore. Got to talk to him. Tell you and I were talking about this before the broadcast. Kiki was excited last night, and I'm walking out of the dugout, and I said, "Hey, what's the big smile for, kid?" And he said, "I was so confident going in. I owned him last year, 3 for 4 in the game as freshman." And he said, "I was just waiting my chance, and I got it." And it was just awesome to see the smile on the face of the lone sophomore on this Eagle team. Takes the first pitch for a called strike, but Kiki's confidence going in. You love to see that. Your number 9 hitter steps in and does the job and plates Holly for the game-winning run there to walk it off.
It's a lot of fun for us to see the fun that these kids are having playing this game, and that's just so much. It's just such an honor to be able to call these games.
Kiki lays off and takes it for ball 2. 2-1 to count to Jack Kiki. Number 9 hitter for Georgetown.
2-1 or 1-1?
They put it up 2-1, so I went with theirs. Oh, no, that's 1-2. 1-1. Sorry about that. I looked on the wrong side of the board. 1-1 to count to Kiki, the 1-1 pitch. He'll lay off and take it low outside. 2-1, like I thought it might be.
I'm having a hard enough time. Our producer, Jerry Ann Harmon's not able to be here today, so I'm having to run the scoreboard, and I'm still trying to find everything.
2 balls, 1 strike to Jack Kiki. Runners on first and second, 2 outs here in the top of the second. Rodriguez comes set, the 2-1 pitch. Kiki lays off, takes it low, ball 3.
We're seeing a lot of patience out of these hitters, and that's exactly what you're going to need against quality pitching.
Georgetown trying to even this one back up. Gave up 1 run in the bottom of the first. Runners on first and second. Grooms at second base. Rainey at first. Rodriguez comes set. The 3-1 pitch to Kiki. Kiki takes it high and inside. Ball 4. Now the bases are loaded. The first walk issued by Rodriguez in the ball game has loaded it up for Georgetown. And in steps the leadoff man, Devin Peterson, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to right field to lead off the top of the first. Steps in here with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Now Round Rock trying to get out of some trouble. 2 outs here for Georgetown. They've done some damage throughout the season with 2 outs, and that pitch count's climbing.
Rodriguez will come set in the stretch after he gets the sign from Also Brooks. Grooms at third, Rainey at second, Kiki at first. The first pitch to Peterson. Peterson lays off, takes it low and outside, ball 1.
He sure thought about that. If that stays up in the strike zone, he's taking that cut.
Devin Peterson, the senior center fielder, but today on the mound to start for your Eagles here in the game 3 of this week. Rodriguez will come set. The 1-0 pitch. And Peterson sends it down the right field line. If it stays fair, it may be out of here, and it is just foul. It curls foul into that corner onto the grass about 5 feet to the left, Kelly, and it's a grand slam and a different look in this ball game.
Yeah, so close.
Devin Peterson got a great piece of that one just behind it. I think a lot of people on the third base side of the stands are happy about that one. Devin got a hold of that one, charged it down the right field line.
Opposite field, too.
And now you see the right fielder, Slocum, kind of minding himself. The center fielder, Dunch, has scooted over to the right center field slot. The 1-1 pitch. Peterson takes it for ball 2. 2-1 to count now to the leadoff man, Devin Peterson. With Andrew Nations waiting his turn, should Peterson be able to extend this inning. A base hit will score at least 1, if not 2. Rainey, a good speed off second base, will be off on the crack of the bat. Rodriguez will come set in the stretch, the 2-1 pitch. And that's an off-speed pitch in there for a called strike 2. Just like you were talking about, a drastic difference there between the fastball and the changeup there for the off-speed pitch there for Rodriguez.
And 1-7 knew it because that one was one he could have hit, but I think he was looking for a fastball.
2-2 count. 2 outs, the 2-2 pitch. Peterson hits it down the left field line. It's going to be fair for extra bases. Grooms in to score. Rainey around third. He'll score. Here comes Kiki all the way from first. He touches third. He's headed to home. And it's going to be a 3 RBI double for Devin Peterson. And Georgetown leads it 3-1.
There's that 2-out damage that we were talking about that Georgetown's able to do. And now you get 3 runs driven in on that double. And that's exactly how this Georgetown offense works.
And Devin Peterson does a great job to help himself on the mound, driving in 3 runs. And now will be a courtesy runner out there to run for the pitcher. Nope, Devin's going to run for himself. He heads out. He was just giving the gear to Coach Durrell, the first base coach. And Peterson will stay on the base pass as Andrew Nation steps in. 3-run lead here, or 2-run lead for Georgetown after a 3 RBI double by Devin Peterson. The first pitch to Nations is in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count.
You know, both these teams, these kids are just loving being in this ballpark because this is such a great ballpark. We love coming to the Express games, and we do want to give a shout-out to the Express staff, so accommodating.
Absolutely. Nations fouls that one off back to the backstop. Now an 0-2 count to Andrew Nations, the center fielder. He's 0 for 1 in the ballgame. Flew out to left center field back in the first inning. Steps in here with 2 outs, 3 runs across for Georgetown. And an 0-2 count, the 0-2 pitch. Nations ground ball hit to first base. Starts, mishandles it. He's going to pitch to Rodriguez just in time to save the inning from any more damage. Starts, good job by the sophomore Rodriguez covering first. But before the inning is over, Georgetown is able to put up 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 1.5 innings, 3-1, Georgetown leads it over Round Rock. Eagle baseball will continue in just a moment. And we go to the bottom of the second inning. The Round Rock Dragons will bring up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Kimstedt, Rodriguez, and Ellis to face off against Peterson in his second inning of work. Kimstedt in from the right side. First pitch just misses for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the third baseman, Kimstedt. 5'9", 173-pound senior. Bats right, throws right. Playing third base for the Dragons here today. 1-0 the count. The 1-0 pitch is behind Kimstedt for ball 2.
Just a bit inside.
In the first inning, Peterson allowed 2 hits, 1 run. Hit 2 batters, 1 wild pitch through 28 pitches. Got out of a bases-loaded jam there to limit it to a 1-run inning. And then helped himself out there in the top of the second with a 3 RBI double down the left field line. The 2-0 pitch stays high through the zone for ball 3. 3-0 the count now to Luke Kimstedt.
with getting those 3 runs in the bottom of the or in the top of the second, that may help Devin settle a little bit.
The 3-0 pitch, inside corner, just misses for ball 4 and a leadoff base runner on for the Dragons here in the top of the second. First walk issued by Peterson in the ball game. And that'll bring up the pitcher, number 30, Isaac Rodriguez, 6 foot, 230-pound sophomore. Throws right, bats right. As he steps in here with no outs and a runner at first base. I think you might expect the bunt here out of the pitcher, Rodriguez, the number 9 hitter in the Dragon lineup. Kimstead will lead off at first. Leininger will hold him on there as Peterson comes set in the stretch. The first pitch, Rodriguez takes it high for ball 1. No activity in either bullpen out in the outfield area. Host the Georgetown and Round Rock fans here in the stadium. The 1-0 pitch to Rodriguez. And that one's in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count now to his pitching counterpart, Isaac Rodriguez. Rodriguez steps back in. Throw over to first base. Kimstead only a couple of steps off. Dives back in safely there. Peterson working from the first base side of the rubber in the stretch. Comes set. Now Rodriguez squares the bunt. Throw over to first base, and Kimstead dives back in safely. Luke Colley started the slow charge in at third base. You might see that bunt here out of Rodriguez. He squares the bunt. Here comes Luke Colley. The runner's off. Now swing away. Pop fly down the first baseline, but it'll curl back into the stands. For strike 2, and now that bunt option is out of his hands. I say that.
Not necessarily.
Don't say that too quick. Luke Colley laid down the most beautiful RBI bunt single last night.
On 2 strikes.
And had a field day with that one. What a beautiful bunt he laid down with the 2 strikes. So 1-2 pitch. Rodriguez lays off. And he takes it for ball 2. 2-2 the count now. The number 9 hitter for the Dragons, Isaac Rodriguez. Peterson comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Low and outside. Nice block. That's ball 3.
Rodriguez.
He tossed the old bat and was gone.
Usually the pitcher's pretty in tune with the count, but not on this. He's a little excited.
He was ready to take his base. 3 balls, 2 strikes now. No outs here at the bottom of the second. The leadoff man aboard on a 4-pitch walk. To lead off the inning, Peterson comes set. The 3-2 pitch. And that one just misses for ball 4. So back-to-back walks. Has been at first and second base for the Dragons. Second walk of the ball game for Peterson. Back to the top of the lineup we go. Here comes a runner on for the pitcher Rodriguez. That'll be number 1, Hudson DePriest. 5'6", 145-pound junior. Will come out to run for the pitcher Rodriguez. Hudson Ellis will step back in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. But where he did his damage is after he got on base, he ended up scoring the only run of the ball game for the Dragons there in the bottom of the first. Was hit by a pitch, so steps back in, 0 for 0 in the ball game. Runners on first and second, so another jam here for the Eagles defensively just in the second inning. The home plate umpire, quick to point out. Head back to the warm-up mat there to the on-deck batter. Still waiting to see if anyone does the Adrian Beltre and pulls it out further.
They did pull them out of the corners a little bit because they were stuck right up against those nets where they couldn't swing the bat.
Peterson turns towards second, but no throw there. As Kimstead back in standing. They were it was kind of a weird position. So I was wondering if anyone's going to do the Beltran right in front of the umpire and pull it out. Square to bunt, takes it for ball 1 as he pulls the bat back. 1-0 the count.
Devin struggling a little bit to find that strike zone, throwing a lot of pitches in these first 2 innings.
28 in the first. Now this will be the 12th of the second inning on the third batter with no outs. Square to bunt. Ellis bunts it down the third baseline. Holly up with it. The throw across the diamond is an error. Pulls Leininger off. And that will score a run as Kimstead comes all the way around. So the bunt works. For the Dragons, first error of the ball game. Kimstead all the way around on that same error to score the second run of the ball game. And the DePriest gets all the way around to third base. Ellis reaches on that error. So now a 2 runs for the Dragons. They trail by 1 now, 3-2, but have runners on the corners with no outs. And in steps Connor DiGasualdo, the DH. He's 1 for 1 with a single, left stranded on base. Throw over to first. Ellis dives back in safely. Expect him to be off and running here with an open bag at second, no outs. Another throw off there. Throw over to first, and Ellis back in.
Interesting that first base coach was signaling a safe. I wonder if he was asking for a balk.
Peterson comes set. There's Ellis off and running. Pulls the bunt back, but takes it for a called strike. No throw down for the stolen base attempt by Hudson Ellis, the first stolen base of the ball game for the Dragons. So an 0-1 count to DiGasualdo, but no outs and runners on second and third now for the Dragons. The 0-1 pitch. DiGasualdo, ground ball to first. Leininger gets it, steps on the bag, throw home, and now they've got DePriest in a rundown between third and home. And Herrera will run him back and tag him out. And the Eagles get out of the inning with one more run. Oh, it's only 2 outs. But what a play there. Heads-up play by Ellis to get to third base. But a great job by Riley Leininger. He fields it, so DiGasualdo's out on a 3 unassisted for out number 1. And then he gets DePriest in the rundown, and it'll go 3-2 on that rundown to get DePriest for out number 2. Trying to get home on that ground ball, and it was a hard ground ball. Nice play by Leininger. So Ellis to third with 2 outs now in the first pitch. Down in the dirt, nice block by Herrera. Chris also Brooks is 1 for 1 of the ball game as well as he steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at third. So an opportunity here for Georgetown to get out of trouble again here in the second inning with only 1 run given up if they can get also Brooks out here in the second inning. The 1-0 pitch, breaking pitch in there on the inside corner for called strike 1.
We saw Herrera make a good block of that because here at Dell Diamond, if that ball gets past the catcher, it's got about 168 yards to the backstop.
It's a nice-sized par 3 hole behind the catcher's. 1-1 pitch just misses for ball 2, 2-1 to count. But a great heads-up play there by Leininger. Coach Vieira talking to the home plate umpire, and he took his helmet off, mask off, and talked to Coach. He's like, I'm asking where it missed. That's all he's asking about. Didn't leave the dugout, didn't move. And now a 2-1 count to also Brooks. The 2-1 pitch. That one's low and outside. Nice block again by Herrera. And a 3-1 count to also Brooks with Nick Dunch on deck for the Dragons here in the bottom of the second. 3-2. Georgetown leads it by 1. But a runner on third with 2 outs and a 3-1 count. The 3-1 pitch. Outside corner just missed for ball 4. And now some activity out in the Georgetown bullpen. Here comes Hank Apple on to courtesy run for the catcher also Brooks down at first base. Third walk issued by Peterson, all of them here in the second inning. So runners on the corners with 2 outs.
That's number 40 warming up.
That would be Braden Rogers in the bullpen. He got pulled up today due to some injuries on the varsity.
Or is he catching?
First pitch.
He's catching.
Swing and a miss by Nick Dunch on a breaking pitch down in the dirt. Nice pitch there by Peterson. 0-1 to count. Hank Apple leads off first. The throw over there, and he dives back as Ellis leads off third base. No balls and 1 strike with 2 outs to Nick Dunch, the center fielder, the number 4 hitter for the Dragons. 1 run across here in the bottom of the second. Peterson comes set. The 0-1 pitch just misses inside for ball 1. 1-1 to count now with Dylan Goddard, the second baseman, on deck for the Dragons. Apple with a big lead off first, held on by Leininger. Peterson comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Down and low away. Gets away from Herrera, but he blocks it back towards third base. So the wild pitch will allow Hank Apple to move up to second base, but Ellis unable to advance home. Nice block by Herrera. Second wild pitch of the ball game. for Peterson. Number 18, Hagen Tate, warming up out in the right field visitors bullpen for your Eagles.
No urgency to his throws right now. Just starting to get a little bit loose.
The 2-1 pitch, or the 1-1 pitch, misses up and away for ball 2. Ball 3 now, sorry. 3-1 now the count to Nick Dunch. First base is open. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. That one's in there for a called strike 2, and now a full count to the center fielder, Nicholas Dunch.
The home plate umpire was about to ring him up, but didn't realize it was strike 2.
He read the board wrong like I did. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Peterson comes set. The payoff pitch. Dunch punches it foul over off the first base dugout protector as Coach Durrell was ready to get out of the way. So Dunch stays alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and runners on second and third.
We'll have to start demanding we see some fielding prowess from these coaches whenever they're fielding those fouls.
3-2 count. Peterson comes set. The payoff pitch. Dunch fouls it off. Back out of play. Off of the signs and back into the bleachers. Stays alive in the at-bat. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. 1 run across for the Dragons. And runners on second and third. Georgetown trying to get out of trouble again. Here in the top or bottom of the second inning, only giving up 1. Peterson comes set. The payoff pitch. Ground ball out by the mound. Jack Kiki will charge it short, fields it. The throw on the run. In time. Bang, bang play. And the Eagles get out of trouble again. 6-3 on the putout to retire Dunch and the Dragons here in the bottom of the second inning. 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. After 2 complete innings, Georgetown 3, Round Rock 2. Eagle baseball continues in a moment.
A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball.
Eagle fans, it's time for our spring donation drive. The Georgetown Eagle Football Booster Club is raising money to make some upgrades to address the crowded weight room with our growing team and purchase additional go-route coach to player communication systems. Please share and send to friends and families to help us reach our goal. Use the link or scan the QR code to donate. Go to Georgetown Eagle Football Boosters on Facebook, and you can be a part of that as well. And you can look on Instagram, Twitter, all the other social media accounts for head coach Chuck Griffin or the Georgetown Eagle Football Booster Club. Their spring donation drive going on now in soon. Help them out. We love to highlight and help and support all the other sports at Georgetown. When we call Georgetown football, we talk about the basketball and baseball teams. We do basketball. We talk about football and baseball. And baseball, we'll talk about the other sports. But what a job in the regional track meet right now. At regional track athletes for Georgetown qualifying for state, and so some competitions going on there as well, and so lots of success in the athletic world of Georgetown sports.
Also want to give a shout out to the district champion girls softball team from Georgetown as well, so 2 district champions in the spring sports.
And they will go to the playoffs starting this next week on Monday. So we'll see what that game has to bring about for the Eagles in their first round of the playoffs. We go to the top of the third. The Eagles bring up the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Leininger, Herrera, and Grooms. Leininger steps in 0 for 0 in the ballgame. He was hit by a pitch and left stranded back in the first inning. Steps in here to lead things off against a new pitcher for the Dragons. First pitch misses for ball 1 to Leininger. The new pitcher is number 20. That's Carter Hughes, the 5'10", 170-pound junior, as he throws here in his first inning of work for the Dragons. The 1-0 pitch on the outside corner, called strike one to Leininger now. 1-1 the count.
As high as we're sitting from up here, sometimes those balls don't. We get a goofy angle of the pitches.
1-1 pitch hit into right field by Leininger. Pulls that one past the diving second baseman Goddard for a leadoff single here in the top of the third. So the Eagles in business to start the ball game, or the top of the third, with their third hit of the game. And that'll bring up the catcher, Reese Herrera. What a rude introduction into the ball game by Leininger to the pitcher, Hughes. But we'll take it, being Georgetown fans. So in steps Reese Herrera. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Steps in from the right side with a man at first and no outs. First pitch from Hughes is up and in and just misses Herrera as he gets out of the way.
I thought that might have gotten his sleeve.
Just called a ball one. I thought it hit him as well as he ducked out of the way. Carter Hughes steps in on the mound out of the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Low and outside, ball two now to Reese Herrera. Two 2-0 the count with a man at first base. The 2-0 pitch to Herrera, swinging down the left field line, and it's going to be pulled foul into the seats. 2-1 the count. Isaac Rodriguez in 2 innings pitched gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, walked 1, 2 hit batters, threw 35 pitches for the Dragons. The 2-1 pitch to Herrera. Herrera takes it for a called strike 2. Good frame job there by the catcher, also Brooks. Rodriguez goes over to first base. He's not out of the ball game totally. He's over to first base now, defensively in place of Starretts for the Dragons. A throw over, Leininger back standing. So we'll look for any other defensive substitutions for the Dragons here in the top of the third. 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Nice pitch by Hughes. And Herrera down for strikeout number 1 for Dragon pitchers for out number 1 in the inning. And that'll bring up the DH, Hayden Grooms. Grooms 1 for 1 in the ball game, a base hit and a run scored back in the second inning. Nice breaking pitch off speed there by Hughes to get Herrera for strike 3.
Big swing and a miss.
First strikeout by Eagle hitters today in the ball game here in the top of the third with 1 out now and a runner at first. Hayden Grooms steps in from the right side with 1 out. First pitch to Grooms, fouls it off back to the screen. 0-1 the count now to Grooms with Luke Holly on deck for your Eagles.
Did they call a balk?
They did. Take the pitch off. No pitch to Grooms. A ball called, so Leininger into second base on that ball call. I heard something screamed, but I wasn't sure what it was. But that was it, Kelly. A ball called on Hughes. And now a runner at second base with a 0-0 count here to Hayden Grooms.
Catcher told him to step off, regroup.
Also Brooks quickly directing things from behind the plate there to the pitcher Hughes. Now Hughes will come set in the stretch. The first pitch to Hayden Grooms. Grooms takes it low and outside. Ball 1, 1-0 the count.
This game does mean a lot to both these teams. Not really a rivalry now because the two teams haven't met a whole lot, but this rivalry between these two town schools goes way back and used to be a big rivalry.
Hayden Grooms, pop fly right side of the infield. Rodriguez will give chase into foul territory, and he'll make the catch leaning over the media stanchion there down from the dugout. Nice play by Isaac Rodriguez to retire Hayden Grooms.
If Dave was with us today, he'd have had to back away.
Or got hit by the glove upside the noggin. F3 in the book for out number 2, and that'll bring up Luke Holly with a runner at second and 2 outs. Nice play by Rodriguez. Gets the second out of the inning. And now Hughes will pitch to Luke Holly, who's 0 for 0 in the ball game. Laid down a beautiful sac bunt back in the second inning. First pitch to Holly. He'll take it outside for ball 1.
What grade level is this pitcher?
He's a junior.
Junior.
Yep. Number 20, Carter Hughes. 5'10", 170-pound. 1-0 pitch to Holly. He lays off and it takes it for ball 2.
That didn't miss by a lot. That was a great breaking pitch, actually.
Holly held off, and now a 2-0 count to Holly. The 2-0 pitch. Fouled off, back to the screen. 2 balls and 1 strike now. To your third baseman, Luke Holly. On deck for your Eagles, Jackson Rainey. Should Holly be able to extend this inning? A runner at second and Leininger. A leadoff single, advanced to second on a balk. Stands there with 2 outs and a 2-1 count. The 2-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 3. 3-1 now the count to Luke Holly. 1 run in the bottom of the first for the Dragons. 3 in the top of the second for Georgetown. 1 in the bottom of the second for the Dragons for our 3-2 score. Here in the top of the third, the 3-1 pitch to Holly. Swing and a miss, strike 2. I think Luke got the fastball he wanted, but it was more outside than he expected. So the swing and a miss makes it a full count with 2 outs. The 3-2 pitch. Low and outside, ball 4. So Holly had nice it back there, draws the walk. First walk issued by Hughes, second of the ball game for Eagle hitters. So with runners on first and second, that'll bring up Jackson Rainey. He's 0 for 0 in the ball game. Was hit by a pitch and scored a run on that 3 RBI double by Devin Peterson in the top of the second. Hughes in the stretch. First base side of the rubber comes set with a peek at second base. The first pitch to Rainey. Rainey lays off and takes it for called strike 1. 0-1 the count now to Jackson Rainey. 2 outs here in the top of the third. 3-2 lead for Georgetown. Rainey ready to go. Hughes comes set. Rainey went around on it. Couldn't check his swing. 0-2 now the count. Rainey will have to battle here on a 0-2 count with 2 outs and runners at first and second.
0-2 count. We'll see if he attacks that strike zone or tries to get him to chase something out of the strike zone.
Hughes comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Rainey chases one on the outside corner. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And the third out of the inning. No runs. 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 2.5 innings, Georgetown 3, Round Rock 2. Eagle baseball continues in a moment.
A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball.
And we go to the bottom of the third. A new pitcher on for your Georgetown Eagles, number 18, Hagen Tate. He is a 6'4", 185-pound junior, throws right. He comes in for the Eagles here in the top of the third. Defensively, we'll make some changes here for you in a second. Tate out of the windup, first base side of the rubber to Dylan Goddard for a called strike one. Goddard, Gaiman, and Starretts due up here in the bottom of the third. The 0-1 pitch to Goddard. Low and outside, ball one, 1-1 to count. Defensively, Kelly, for the Eagles.
We got Nations has moved over to left field from center field, and Peterson has gone to center field now, and Tate takes over on the mound.
Tate from the windup, the 1-1 pitch to Goddard. Ground ball hit out between short and third. Kiki charges the throw on the run in time to get Goddard 6-3 on the putout. Nice play by the sophomore Jack Kiki for out number one. Great throw on the run there by Kiki to get Goddard by a half a step. And that'll bring up number 14, the left fielder, Jacob Gaiman. He's 0 for 0 in the ball game. Was hit by a pitch and left stranded back in the first inning. So he steps in here with one out, and the base is empty in the bottom of the third.
Kiki knew with that slow ground ball he was going to have to come up, make a good transition and a quick throw, and he did.
First pitch swinging. Holly can't get a glove on it on the line drive. Late hopper there. Gets into left field. See how they score that one. They're going to score to hit for Gaiman. So a one-out single for Jacob Gaiman has a base runner aboard for the Dragons here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring up a new hitter here. That'll be number 8 for the Dragons. Coming in to hit for Starretts, that's Luke Owen. 5'8", 150-pound senior. Throws right, bats left. Steps in here with one out. And a runner at first base. Tate moves to the stretch now. First pitch to Owen. Hits him. So Owen steps in and greeted by a hit by pitch. Runners on first and second. So Georgetown in 3 innings in a row have put runners on first and second with less than 2 outs, Kelly, and make it challenging for themselves.
Welcome to the game, young man. Hold this. First pitch.
So Luke Owen down to first base. And in steps number 4. That's Luke Kimstat. The third baseman, he walked back in the second inning and scored a run. Steps in here with one out and runners on first and second. First pitch inside corner for called strike one. 0-1 to Kimstat. Here in the bottom of the third, a 3-2 lead for Georgetown. The 0-1 pitch. Misses low and outside. It gets away from Herrera. The runner rounds third. Gaiman, but he stops there. So a first wild pitch for Hagen Tate. Moves the runners into scoring position. The count 1-1 to Kimstat now. But another inning, third in a row, Kelly. Multiple base runners on for the Dragons with less than 2 outs. And another opportunity for them to get right back into this one. Down 3-2. Leininger even with the bag at first base. Holly even with the bag at third. Hagen Tate comes set. First base side of the rubber in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Kimstat with Isaac Rodriguez, the first baseman, on deck.
Kimstat swung at that pitch and regretted it because it was so far outside he couldn't do anything with it, but he was fooled by that pitch.
1-2 the count now as Tate comes set. The 1-2 pitch. That one slapped foul down the first baseline, out of play. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to the third baseman, Luke Kimstat. Gaiman down at third base. Luke Owen down at second base with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Hagen Tate gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Line drive chopper into right field. It's down. Rainey up with it. The throw to the plate. It's cut off by Leininger. As Gaiman had to hold up. He couldn't tell if Rainey was going to make the catch. A better throw from Rainey may have got him at home plate, but instead it's a single to right field, an RBI for Kimstat, and the tie scores the run, scores the ball game. It ties the game at 3-3. Easy for you to say, Kelly.
It's not even early in the morning, Wally.
I tell you what. So now runners at the corners again. for the Dragons on that RBI single by Kempstead. Brings up Isaac Rodriguez. He's 0 for 0. He walked back in the second inning. Tate's first pitch to Rodriguez is low for ball one.
One out here now. Tate's trying to throw some kind of pitch that'll be a grounder to the infield, so maybe they can turn the double play.
Tate comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Down in the dirt. 2-0. Great block by Herrera. These pitchers need to make sure they tip their catcher.
Yeah.
Herrera doing a great job of keeping that ball around home plate, not letting runners advance. Kempstead at first base, leads off there. Luke Owen down at third base. One out here in the bottom of the third. One run across. The 2-0 pitch. Up and in. Ball three. So a 3-0 count now to the number 9 hitter, Isaac Rodriguez. The last person in the lineup you really want to put on base as you go back to the top of the lineup after him. Would love to get the ground out. Hudson Ellis is on deck. He has reached in both of his at-bats. Scored a run. 3-0 pitch to Rodriguez. Down in the dirt. Ball four. The bases are loaded now here in the bottom of the third. Kempstead up to second. Rodriguez down to first base.
Saw another block of that pitch right there by Herrera. And you got to have some confidence about that if you're on the mound, that you've got a catcher back there that can stop those pitches from getting by. He did let one get by a little bit earlier, but he's done a good job of stopping the rest.
Now the Dragons will probably bring in a pinch runner for Rodriguez, and they do. It's number 9, Hank Apple. So Apple has been running for the pitcher, or the catcher, also Brooks. So now this will scratch him as a substitute on a pinch runner for Isaac Rodriguez, the first baseman. So the base is loaded for the Dragons with one out here in the bottom of the third. They've tied it up with their third run of the ball game. One run apiece in each of the 3 innings for the Dragons. And they still threatening here in the bottom of the third with one out and the bases loaded. Hagen Tate on a relief for the Eagles here in the third inning. Comes set in the stretch. Hudson Ellis, the first pitch. He'll lay off and take it on the inside corner for a called strike one. Ellis hit by a pitch and scored a run in the first inning. Reached on an error and left stranded in the second. As he steps in here with the bases loaded, one out in the bottom of the third. Tate comes set, the 0-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball one, 1-1 the count. Activity in the Dragon bullpen, no activity in the Eagle bullpen. Owen off third. Kempstead off second. Apple off first. A 1-1 pitch, grounded foul down the third baseline, and now a 1-ball, 2-strike count to the leadoff man, Hudson Ellis, for the Dragons.
I would imagine we're going to be going through these pitching staffs relatively quickly. Not saying the game's not important, but it's not a district game here, and there may be some arms that you want to get some game time experience before you hit the playoffs.
Ellis steps back in as Tate comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Up and in. Ball 2. Ellis wasn't moving. No, almost hit him. But now the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. One out and the base is full for the Dragons. Threatening again here in the bottom of the third. Tate comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Down low and outside. Good stop by Reese Herrera. Now a full count. Nowhere to put him, so Tate's got to go after him here.
Good battle on this at bat. He goes down 1-2, and now he's brought it to a full count.
Hagen Tate gets the sign and comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. Strike 3 called. Ellis down on strikes looking for out number 2. A big strikeout there for Hagen Tate. His first strikeout of the ball game. And now 2 outs with the bases full for the Dragons.
That was absolutely not a pitch he was looking for because it completely froze him, and it was a beautiful pitch.
So Connor DiGaswaldo, the DH, steps in. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. The top of the lineup for the Dragons getting plenty of reps here in this ball game. This for the top 2 hitters. This will be their 3rd at bat in the first 3 innings. So an opportunity here for the Eagles to get out of trouble again with only 1 run surrendered. The broken record continues on repeat as Hagen Tate will face off against the left-handed hitting DH Disqualdo. Singled and left stranded in the first, grounded out in the second. Tate comes set. The first pitch to Disqualdo, easy for you to say, to the DH Connor, and misses for ball 1. 1-0 the count. On deck, the catcher also Brooks, who's 1 for 1 in the ball game as well. Hagen Tate comes set, the 1-0 pitch. That one's on the outside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 the count.
Little sales job right there. The umpire was buying from Herrera.
That's what you love when your run of senior catchers here at Georgetown the last 3 years, doing a great job behind the plate on a consistent basis. The 1-1 pitch, low, squirts back behind Herrera. Here comes the runner from third base, and he'll score easily. That's going to be a pass ball there that scores that run. 2-1 count to the DH DiGasqualdo. But that scores Luke Owen from third base, and the Dragons take the lead back 4-3 on that pass ball.
And that repairs the broken record.
First time in the ball game, the Dragons put up a crooked number. 2 runs here in the bottom of the 3rd. They take the 4-3 lead and still have runners at 2nd and 3rd now. The 2-1 pitch from Tate. Outside, ball 3. So the consistency for the 2 pitchers so far for the Eagles, having a hard time finding the strike zone consistently, which is putting on lots of base runners for the Dragons. Fortunately for the Eagles, they've stranded 5 through 2 innings and only trail by 1 now here in the bottom of the 3rd. Tate comes set, the 3-1 pitch. Misses low, ball 4, another walk. Loads the bases again for Round Rock. 5th walk issued by Eagle pitching, 2nd by Hagen Tate. And in steps Chris also Brooks, singled and left stranded in the 1st. Walked and left stranded in the 2nd. Steps in here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 2 runs across for the Dragons. They lead it 4-3. Also Brooks from the right side comes set. Hagen Tate gets the sign and comes set. Now he'll step off. And we'll all reset here. Little rain starting to fall here at Dell Diamond. Hagen Tate comes set. The first pitch to also Brooks, and he swings away. Line drive center field. Peterson on the run back, but he'll make the catch for out number 3, and the Eagles escape more damage, only giving up 2 here in the inning. But it's 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. After 3 full innings, Round Rock 4, tongue-tied. Round Rock 4, Georgetown 3. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. Out of the top of the fourth inning, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for Georgetown. First pitch from Hughes to Lawrence, misses for ball 1. Cord 0 for 1 in the ball game, struck out swinging back in the second inning. Lawrence, Kiki, and Peterson due up here for the Eagles. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-1 now the count to the second baseman, Cord Lawrence. Some defensive changes for the Dragons. We'll try to get those here in just a second. The 1-1 pitch to Cord. Line drive off the pitcher into center field. What a shot there by Cord Lawrence. Great piece of hitting to lead it off with a base hit for the Eagles.
Pitcher almost got a haircut on that one because that was a line shot right past him.
And now they'll check with Carter Hughes, make sure he's okay as he works here in the second inning of work for the Dragons. And Coach Carter will get a free pass to come out and talk to his pitcher. Chance to set the defense, Kelly, for the Dragons as they make some changes here.
I forgot who you said went to left.
That's what I'm figuring out. Number 8, Luke Owen, has gone to left field.
All right, so Owen's in left, and then Apple has moved over to third base. Kimstead has moved over to first base.
So now where did Jacob Gaiman go? That's the guessing game to see where he went defensively. And he is in right field. So Gaiman's moved to right field in place of Slocum, who is now out of the ball game. So Owen in left, Apple at third, Kimstead to first. Who's at first?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's at third.
These coaches got to stop this.
Kiki squares the bunt, takes the first pitch for a ball. They throw back behind Lawrence, and a good job by Kimstead over there to dig that one out of the dirt. 1-0 the count to Kiki. As Carter stays in the ball game, he's all right after that one shelled off of his right shoulder. Kiki steps in 0 for 0 in the ball game. A walk and a run scored in the second inning. Squares around, takes this one for a called strike. 1-1 the count now to Jack Kiki, the shortstop.
Both the teams being really aggressive on the base pass.
1-1 the count to Kiki. No outs here in the inning. Have to make some changes here. May have a little. That will be all right there. The 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2. Tough call there to Kiki. That one a little low, but now a 1-2 count to the shortstop. Have to make some alterations here as the rain starts to pick up a little bit here at the Dell Diamond. So we'll figure it out. The 1-2 pitch. Kiki, line drive down the left field line. That's down for base hit. Here goes Cord Lawrence around second. He's headed to third. He's going to be waved around third. He'll score. Kiki around second. He's headed to third. And it's going to be an RBI triple for the shortstop, Jack Kiki. He stays hot. A line drive base hit down the third baseline. Gets into the corner. Lawrence scores from first, and Kiki into third on a sliding RBI triple to tie the ball game up at 4 apiece.
Kiki was on his horse the instant he dropped that bat, and he had third base in his sights from the time he left the box. Great piece of hitting.
So 1 run across here in the inning, no outs, and a runner at third base on that RBI triple by Kiki that scores Cord Lawrence from first base. The Eagles have tied it up 4-4, and in steps Devin Peterson. He's 1 for 2. He has a 3 RBI double back in the second as he steps in 1 for 2 in the ball game. No outs. Carter Hughes first pitch. Peterson lays off and takes it for a called strike. 0-1 the count.
Nice pitch there by Carter.
The infield in for the Dragons as they want to cut down the run at third base with no outs here in the top of the fourth. Peterson back in. Hughes comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Square to bunt. Punts at it and misses it. Throw down behind Kiki, but not in time. Just under the tag. 0-2 the count now to Devin Peterson. With no outs and a runner at third. Back-to-back base hits. A single to lead off the inning by Cord Lawrence. And an RBI triple by Jack Kiki, the 8 and 9 hitters for Georgetown. The 0-2 pitch to Peterson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So the second strikeout for Hughes records the first out of the inning for the Eagles. Here in the top of the fourth. That'll bring up number 10, Andrew Nations. 1 out and a runner at third. Nations 0 for 2 in the ball game. Flew out to left in the first inning, grounded out to the first baseman back in the second inning. Hughes first pitch to Nations. Swing and a miss, strike one.
Fooled on that one. That one dropped right out of the strike zone as it got close to the plate. Andrew took a kind of halfway cut at it because I think he realized right at the last instant.
The 0-1 pitch. A swing and a miss on that one. It broke down into the dirt. 0-2 now the count to Andrew Nations. One out in the inning. One run across. The Eagles have tied it up at 4-4. Leininger on deck for Georgetown. Hughes comes set. The 0-2 pitch. That one misses up and away for ball one. 1-2 to count now to the left fielder, Andrew Nations. AJ steps back in. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Back-to-back strikeouts. Third strikeout by Hughes. Brings up Riley Leininger.
Andrew didn't look comfortable at the plate on that at-bat. None of his swings looked really decisive. The change of pitcher this time around may have an effect on that.
Leininger steps in. He's 1 for 2 on the day. First pitch from Hughes. Leininger lays off outside for ball one. Just misses. Nice frame job there by also Brooks. It doesn't get the call. Leininger hit by a pitch and left stranded in the first. Singled and left stranded in the third. The 1-0 pitch from Hughes. Leininger is swing and a miss. Strike one. 1-1 the count. Hughes has something dirty working on that pitch and dropping at the last minute. The Eagle batter's missing that one. 1-1 the count. And a ball called there, screamed out by the third base umpire. That's going to score the... And I think Coach Durrell was talking to the first base umpire. It's got to be a balk, and the third base umpire immediately screamed it out at the same time. So the count remains 1-1. But more importantly, the second run of the inning across for Georgetown on the balk scores Kiki. Leininger rips that one down the first baseline.
What are those boxes leaned up over there?
I don't know, but it got knocked down by Leininger's shot. So they count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leininger now. Second balk by Hughes. And that's costly. So that one gives Georgetown the 5-4 lead now. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Leininger with 2 outs and the base is empty. The 1-2 pitch. That hits him the second time of the ball game, and Leininger took that one, kind of looked like off the knee, just above the ankle guard.
And it did not feel good.
It did not feel good for the big guy to stumble out of there. His second time to be hit by a pitch. So now a 2-out base runner. First batter hit by a pitch by Carter Hughes.
He's still hobbling, too.
They're going to give a timeout here to let Leininger kind of walk that one off. As Reese Herrera will step in with 2 outs and a runner at first.
He had that pad on that ankle, but it missed the pad, too.
Leininger will walk gingerly back to the base. And the second base umpire, the middle umpire, will come over and check with him, make sure he's okay. So Leininger will lead off. 2-out base runner. Herrera steps in, 0 for 2 in the ball game. A ground out and a strikeout. The first pitch to Herrera, swinging down the third baseline, but foul. And weak effort by Jordan Vieira.
The boot.
Golly.
Put a mustard-colored star on that one. That was ugly.
I'm gonna go out to practice and get these kids hit some ground balls to Durrell and Vieira. Work on these foul balls. 0-1 to Herrera, the 0-1 pitch. Herrera lays off and takes it high, 1-1. And the other night, on Tuesday night, listening to the broadcast from Port A, you even said Jordan Vieira grabs that one. I even commented, like, that's what I'm talking about. Coach V starting to make some plays, and then back to normal. The 1-1 pitch. Herrera takes it up and in for ball 2. 2-1 to count now. On deck, the DH Hayden Grooms. Should Herrera be able to extend this inning? 2 runs across in the top of the 4th for Georgetown. They lead at 5-4. The 2-1 pitch. Herrera lays off, low and outside, ball 3.
Wally, 4 of the 5 runs by the Eagles have come with 2 outs. So that's so important to be able to still do some damage with 2 outs in the inning.
Leininger leads off first, being held on by Kimstedt. The 3-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. Now a full count to Herrera. Carter Hughes came on in the start of the 3rd inning for the Dragons. The payoff pitch to Herrera. Line drive into left field. A great piece of hitting there. Leininger was off on the pitch. He cruises into second base, and now 2 base runners aboard with 2 outs. A great job there by Reese Herrera to get that one into left field for a base hit. 7th hit of the ball game. I have 7. See if that one gets added in. But nonetheless, runners at first and second, and here comes Coach John Carter for the Dragons. We'll see if they go to the bullpen. We'll take a quick timeout. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. Back here at the Dell Diamond, quick visit over at the mound with Coach Carter. Dylan Hughes will stay in the ball game for the Dragons. Talon Ball on to run for the catcher, Reese Herrera, as the courtesy runner. In steps Hayden Grooms, the DH, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Carter's first pitch to Grooms. Hayden hits it into left center field. The center fielder on the run will make the catch. Dunch grabs the ball for out number 3. L8 in the book to retire Grooms and the Eagles, but not before the Georgetown Eagles pick up 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 2 runners left on base. After 3.5, Georgetown leads it 5-4 over the Round Rock Dragons. Eagle baseball continues in a minute. And we're back for the bottom of the 4th inning. Georgetown takes a 5-4 lead as they answer the 2 runs from the Dragons in the bottom of the 3rd with 2 runs of their own in the top of the 4th to lead it 5-4. And now Hagen Tate on for his 2nd inning of work will face off against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Dunch, Goddard, and Gaiman. The first pitch swinging, and Dunch pulls it foul into the stands for strike 1. Dunch 0 for 1 in the ball game. A sac fly in the first. An RBI sac fly in the first, and then a ground out in the second. Hagen Tate from the windup, the 0-1 pitch. Skips that one in for ball 1. 1-1 to count. To the center fielder, Nicholas Dunch. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside. 2-1 now the count. To Nick Dunch, the center fielder. Well, it's bright in here once you open those windows. The 2-1 pitch, low and outside, ball 3. So the trend continues right now for Eagle pitching. Falling behind in counts. And now a 3-1 count to the number 4 hitter, Dunch. The 3-1 pitch. That's in there for called strike 2. Now a full count to the number 4 hitter, Nick Dunch, the center fielder.
Sure. could use a 1-2-3 inning.
I don't think any team's seen one of those. From the windup, the payoff pitch. Ground ball hit out towards short. Kiki fields it. The throw across the diamond pulls the first baseman off the bag. So an error on the throw from Kiki. I'm assuming they're going to call that one an error. Be the second error of the ball game for Georgetown. They'll give that to the shortstop, Kiki, on the throw.
They did.
And there it goes up on the board. Now that'll bring up the second baseman, number 5, Dylan Goddard. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. A fly out to left field in the first, a ground out to the shortstop, Kiki, in the third. Eagles would love to get a ground ball double play here. Tate to the stretch. The first pitch to Goddard. Down in the dirt, ball 1. So the second error of the ball game by Georgetown has the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 4th for the Dragons. Dunch leads off first, held on by Leininger. Tate comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. That one's inside, ball 2. Activity down in the, well, in both bullpens now. I looked up at Georgetown's bullpen in the right center field area. And activity in the Dragon bullpen as Hayden Grooms, the DH, warms up for the Eagles. Tate comes set, the 2-0 pitch to Goddard. That one's in there for a called strike 1. 2-1 the count now to Goddard. For the Dragons warming up is number 12, Ethan Smith. Throw over to first base, nonchalant there. But Dunch, I don't think expected the pickoff move. Dove back in.
Did I hear a squeal?
Why is he throwing over here? 2-1 the count to Dylan Goddard. Leadoff man aboard. The 2-1 pitch. Goddard fouls it off, and the count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dunch trying to make some noise over there at first base. Tate avoided any attention to that. But for the 4th inning in a row. Nope, 3rd out of the 4th inning. 3 out of the 4 innings. The Dragons have gotten their leadoff man aboard, Kelly. And a good job by the Eagles to limit some of those coming across. But still a close game here, 5-4. Back and forth these two teams go. Georgetown getting them in chunks, 3 in the second, 2 in the 4th. Where Round Rock is chopped in each inning, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the 3rd. And now threatening here in the bottom of the 4th. 2-2 count to Goddard. The 2-2 pitch, the runner off, base hit. Hit and run there. Dunch is going to be held as Nations comes up and gets it in quickly, but the hit and run works there as Dunch was off of the pitch. And Goddard hit it between the 5-6 hole into left field for a base hit, the 5th hit of the ball game for the Dragons.
They've been able to have a lot of base runners, and like you said a little bit earlier, Wally, Georgetown's been fortunate to limit it to 4 runs.
In steps number 14, Jacob Gaiman. He is the right fielder now defensively. For the Dragons, he'll step in here with no outs and runners on first and second for Round Rock. Gaiman in from the right side. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Was hit by a pitch and left stranded in the first. Singled and scored a run in the 3rd. Squares to bunt. Moves up in the box. The infield shifts. Hagen Tate will throw to second.
Who?
And Kiki did a good job there keeping that one from going out to Devin Peterson in center field. So we'll see what defense approach the Eagles take here. The runner on first and second, Holly, got to expect is going to stay home at third base. So Hagen Tate will have to cover off the mound, but Holly walking in at third base, square to bunt, down in the dirt for ball 1. So another situation here for the Eagles to work out of. Here in the bottom of the 4th, 2 runners aboard, no outs. 1-0 the count to Gaiman. Hagen Tate comes set in the stretch. Gaiman squares the bunt early. First and third charging in for Georgetown. The 1-0 pitch. Bunt out in front of the mound. It hits the bat. That's a dead ball. So that will be the runner out. The runners will have to go back to first and second. So that's on the batter, Gaiman. He lays down the bunt. Instead of dropping it there in the box, he had moved up to the front of the box, Kelly. He drops it out in front of home plate, and the ball hits it. Automatically dead ball. Gaiman is ruled out, and the runners have to go back. So a big mistake there by Gaiman for out number one.
And a huge break for Georgetown because now the double play comes into play. And maybe you can get out of this inning without giving up a run.
Luke Owen steps in for his second plate appearance of the ball game. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the third. Went in defensively for the Dragons in left field. Steps in here with runners on first and second and one out. First pitch is low for ball one. But a big play there for the Eagle defense. The benefit of the bunted ball hitting the bat. So Gaiman ruled out. The runners reset as Goddard goes back to first, Dunch to second, and Owen steps in. 1 ball and no strikes to count with 1 out. Hagen Tate looks at second. Now the 1-0 pitch. Up and away, ball 2.
It was going to be a nice bunt, too, because that ball just died right there. Would have given the catcher a good opportunity to make the out, but not get anybody else.
And instead, the Eagles benefit with the runners having to go back to their original starting points at first and second base. So 1 out now and a 2-0 count to Luke Owen. Taking Tate's pitch. Outside corner called strike 1. 2-1 now the count to the left fielder, Luke Owen.
At this point, both these coaches are just telling their pitchers, hit the strike zone, let your defense work behind you.
Dunch leads off second. Goddard off first as Tate comes set in the stretch. A look at second base. The 2-1 pitch. Inside corner just misses for ball 3. Must have been a little high. Looked good on the corner wise, but 3-1 now the count to Luke Owen. Don't want to load the bases here with 1 out.
Herrera popped up quick out of his crouch, and that may have thrown that call off a little bit. Who knows?
Tate comes set, the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. It's the second time. You almost wonder, you know, some of these players, it's a Saturday game. You're not used to really playing them right now. You're in the district run. The second player for Round Rock to just totally not be aware of the count. As Luke Owen was headed back to the dugout on a strike 3 called. It's a full count now with 1 out and the runners at first and second. Tate, a look at second base. The payoff pitch. Outside corner, called strike 3. Now he can walk back to the dugout confidently. Without number 2 recorded, second strikeout for Hagen Tate, and 2 outs on the inning for the Eagles.
After you make a mistake like that, you don't really want to go back to the dugout and hang out with your friends.
2 strikeouts for Tate, 2 outs here in the inning. Runners on first and second, and in steps Luke Kimstedt, the first baseman now defensively for the Dragons. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game, a walk and a run scored and a single. First pitch on the inside corner, called strike 1. Walked and scored a run in the second, singled and left an RBI single and left stranded in the third for Kimstedt. No balls, 1 strike. Tate comes set, a look back at second base. The 0-1 pitch. Runner off to third. Herrera can't get a good grip on it. No throw down, and Dunch stills third base. So now a runner's at the corners. Second stolen base in the ballgame for Dragon base runners. Goddard not moving at first base. Now you almost expect a delayed steal or something here by Goddard to try to draw a throw to allow Dunch to try to score the tying run. 1-1 to count to Kimstedt. The 1-1 pitch down in the turf, blocked by Herrera. Goddard will take off, and he'll advance there on that wild pitch down in the dirt. Second wild pitch by Tate. 2-1 to count now to Kimstedt, and runners at second and third with 2 outs. So Tate behind in the count now, 2 balls and 1 strike to Luke Kimstedt with 2 outs and runners at second and third. The 2-1 pitch. That one's up and in, ball 3.
Both these teams are hoping to repeat playing here in June for the state championship.
The goal of every baseball team when the season begins to end up at the Dell Diamond. The payoff pitch inside, a 2-out walk has loaded them back up for the Dragons. So Georgetown can't seem to get out of their own way of loading up the bases today. They've done it every inning, and now here comes Coach Chad Payne, the pitching coach, to visit with Hagen Tate. Quick timeout. Eagle baseball continues in just a moment. Back after the visit from Coach Payne to the mound, Hagen Tate will face off against the number 9 hole hitter. That's Hank Apple. The first pitch to Apple with the bases loaded, 2 outs, is in there for a called strike.
That runner on third is coming way down that baseline, trying to distract our pitcher.
Tate comes set on the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Apple. Low and outside, ball 1. Nowhere to put him. Got to go after him here with 2 outs and the bases loaded. The Eagles have yet to allow a run across here for the Dragons, but they are threatening with the bases full of Dragon base runners. And Hank Apple at the plate in the number 9 slot. Tate comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off on a check swing back to the backstop. 1-2 now the count.
No race for the ball.
No.
Disappointing.
You can have it. It's not the quite the excitement Georgetown and Eastview put on display.
Nice play.
Called strike 3, and Hagen Tate works out of the jam with a strikeout looking for out number 3. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 3 runners left on base. After 4 complete, Georgetown 5, Round Rock 4. Eagle baseball continues in a moment.
Jenny Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's jenny.mahan@cbunited.com.
And we go to the top of the 5th inning. A new pitcher on for the Dragons. It'll be number 13, Josh Horvath. Horvath comes in, the righty. Here in the 5th inning, the 3rd pitcher of the ball game for the Dragons. We have no stats on him as he was a new addition on their roster that we got a picture of from Coach Carter. He'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for Georgetown, Holly, Rainey, and Lawrence. The first pitch from the windup to Holly. Holly fouls it off for strike 1. 0-1 the count. Holly is 0 for 0 in the ballgame. A sac bunt in the 2nd inning, a walk and left stranded in the 3rd. The 0-1 pitch to Luke. It's over his head.
Almost hit the bat.
Pull the bat down. 1-1 the count to Luke Holly. So the 3rd pitcher for the Dragons, Horvath, comes in here in the 5th inning. The 1-1 pitch, Holly, ground ball hit out to short. Hudson Ellis up with it to throw across the diamond just in time. No, Kimstead off the bag. The umpire was right on it, Kelly, and he's going to call it safe, saying that Kimstead had pulled his foot off the bag, and here comes Coach John Carter. So as that would stand, it would be an error, and first base umpire is going to run across and meet Coach Carter halfway across the infield. But he was right on the plate, not 10 feet behind it, Kelly, there in the dirt, and immediately said no. He's off the bag, pulled his foot, and that'll be an error on the first baseman, Kimstead. So they lead off man aboard for Georgetown. Good hustle by Luke Holly to get down the line and force that. And now on base to bring up a new pinch hitter for Georgetown. For Jackson Rainey, it's going to be number 3. That's Riley Hill, the 5'7", 160-pound senior. He'll pinch hit here for the Eagles in place of Jackson Rainey in the number 7 slot.
Let some guys get some cuts.
Riley Hill bats right. Will step in here with no outs and a runner at first in the top of the 5th inning. Horvath will move to the stretch, works from the center of the rubber. The first pitch to Riley Hill. Down low in the dirt. Nice block by also Brooks. Ball 1 to Hill.
These catchers can take a beating sometimes, man. Baseball-sized bruises on their thighs.
Holly off and running. The 1-0 pitch is in there. Holly easily into second base with his 16th steal of the season. He stole a base last night, an important base that he stole, as he stole second base there in the bottom of the 7th and then scored on the base hit by Jack Kiki. He steals the base here, and now a runner in scoring position with no outs here in the top of the 5th. A 1-1 count to Riley Hill as he pinch hits here in the top of the 5th for the Eagles. Horvath comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Hill sends it into center field, but it's going to hang up for the center fielder, Dunch. Nice contact there by Riley Hill, but Dunch about 2 steps away from that one for the out. That'll be L8 in the book to retire Riley Hill. For out number 1, and in steps the second baseman, Cord Lawrence. He's 1 for 2. Struck out in the 2nd inning, singled and scored a run in the 4th. A big single as he reached base and followed by the RBI triple by Jack Kiki. Lawrence steps in with 1 out and a runner at second base. First pitch to Cord, swing and a miss, strike 1.
Little hesitation on that swing kept him from being able to catch up to it.
About every time these guys come up to bat, it's a new pitcher to face and get adjusted to as they go in every 2 innings now for the Dragons. The 0-1 pitch to Cord. Up and in. Chin music to Cord there. 1-1 the count. Starting to feel that wind come in. If it'll just hold the rain off, we're here in the top of the 5th. The Dell Diamond. Today's non-district matchup between your Georgetown Eagles and the Round Rock Dragons.
A lot of spring scrimmages going on today for college football all over the place. The Aggie spring game is today. Longhorn spring game is today.
Another stolen base for Luke Holly. Kind of a delayed still, and he in at third base now. Called strike 2 on that pitch to Lawrence. It's 1-2 now. College football, high school football just around the corner. The 1-2 pitch to Lawrence. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for out number 2. First strikeout for Horvath. And with 2 outs in the inning, that brings up the third base, or the shortstop, Number 20, Jack Kiki. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. A walk and a run scored in the second inning. An RBI triple and a run scored in the fourth inning for the shortstop. First pitch to Kiki. Just high for ball 1. Thought he stood up and was going to call a strike.
I did too.
1 ball, no strikes to Kiki, the number 9 hitter, with Peterson on deck for Georgetown. Horvath comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. That one stays up and in for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Kiki back in for the right side as Horvath comes set in the stretch. Holly leads off third. The 2-0 pitch. Kiki gives it a ride down the third baseline, but this one's going to drift back into the stands for a foul ball. 2-1 the count now. David Durrell, the coach, down at first base. Jordan Vieira's get sold out. Put the long sleeves on down at third base. I think he's had them on all day, but
this weather in late April, man, this temperature, I'll take it.
2-1 pitch. Kiki into left center field. Dunch has a beat on it, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. The Eagles go quietly after a leadoff base runner reaches on the air. No runs on no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base after 4.5. Georgetown 5, Round Rock 4. Eagle baseball continues in a moment.
Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's JENNY.MAHAN@cbunited.com.
To the bottom of the 5th, Hagen Tate on for his 3rd inning of work for Georgetown. And he'll face off against the top of the lineup for the Dragons, the 1, 2, and 3 hitters, Ellis, DeGaswaldo, and also Brooks. Ellis steps in. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the first. Reached on an error in the second. Struck out looking in the third. First pitch from Hagen Tate, swinging, chops it foul into the third base dugout as his teammates give it a look. 0-1 the count to Hudson Ellis. Here in the bottom of the 5th. Ellis back in for the right side. Hagen Tate out of the windup. The 0-1 pitch. Misses low and outside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Here at the Dell Diamond for this non-district game. The 2-step in has commandeered the schools for parking for Georgetown and Eastview. The 1-1 pitch fouled off back behind home plate. 1-2. Now the count to Hudson Ellis. The shuttle sites there. A lot of shuttle sites for the 2-step in, and 2 of those being Eastview High School and Georgetown High School. And so the game no games could be played there. And so the JV and freshmen over at Round Rock High School, the Dell Diamond, offering to allow the 2 hometown schools to play a game here today. The 1-2 pitch, low and outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count now to Hudson Ellis. And what an opportunity for these teams. You know what you're driving for at the first week of June is to get back here to play for a state title. Georgetown recently winning that 5A title in 2022. The 2-2 pitch, line drive headed into right field. Jackson Rainey settles under it, makes the catch for out number 1. F9 in the book to retire Ellis.
Folks, if you're planning on going to Georgetown today, don't go to North Austin Avenue unless you are attending the two-step in. It is going to be a madhouse.
Georgetown, if you're planning to go to Georgetown today, don't. It is horrible. Roads are cut off. You can't park in these neighborhoods for event parking. It's just going to be a mess, but an awesome event. The second year of the two-step in. Doppler Dave skipped out on us today to go hang out with his girls and his daughters, and yeah, that's cute and all, but our dedication is right here, Kelly. We go to the bottom of the fifth. One out. In steps a pinch hitter for the Dragons. That's going to be number 21 stepping in, Trahan Godby, 5'10", 204-pound junior. Pinch hitting in replace of the number 2 hitter, D. Gasqualdo. First pitch missed for a strike. Second pitch called strike on the outside corner. 0-2 the count now to Godby in his pinch hit at bat here in the bottom of the fifth. The 0-2 pitch. Line drive hit out towards shortstop. Kiki fields it across the diamond in time for out number 2. So for the first time in the ball game, Kelly, in 5 innings, Georgetown has got the first 2 batters in a row. 6-3 on that put out, and here comes Coach Vieira. And that will mean a Georgetown call to the bullpen. We'll take a timeout. Eagle Baseball continues in a moment.
Jenny Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's jenny.mahan@cbunited.com.
Hayden Groom's on to pitch with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth against the catcher, also Brooks. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Also Brooks is 1 for 2 in the ball game. The 1-0 pitch fouled off back behind home plate. 1-1 now the count. Hayden Groom's the right-handed pitcher on a relief, 5'10", 180-pound junior. From the windup with the bases empty and 2 outs from the first base side of the rubber. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards short. Holly will cut it off from third. Bobbles it, picks it up, can't get it across, and that'll be an error on Holly. So unable to get the inning in order. Allows a base runner here, an E5 on Holly. And a courtesy runner will come out here for the catcher, also Brooks. See who they bring out to run. It'll be number 24. That's Teague Watkins, 6'3", 180-pound junior. Watkins will come out and run with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. So the Eagles had a chance there to get the Dragons in order for the first time in the ball game, but unable to do so. And now a base runner on with 2 outs, and in steps Nicholas Dunch, the center fielder. Dunch is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Bunts here. Hayden Grooms will field it barehanded. The throw to first in time. Great play by Hayden Grooms. The barehanded there makes the difference, Kelly, and he gets the 3rd out at first base to get the Dragons down here in the bottom of the 5th. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base after 5 complete. Georgetown 5, Round Rock 4. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. And we go to the top of the 6th inning. Horvath on for his 2nd inning work for the Dragons. He'll face off against the top 3 hitters for your Eagles, Peterson, Nations, and Leiniger. From the windup, the first pitch to Peterson, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Peterson 1 for 3 on the ball game with a 3 RBI double.
Austin Graham just let us know that our statistician from football season, Holden Tuma, has arrived. His girlfriend let him come home for the weekend.
0-2 after Peterson fouls that one back off.
Sorry, Holden, man. You knew I had to take a shot, brother. We miss you. Come see us.
I'm just glad to know he's alive. Hard to get him to reply to a text message.
I know. He's important.
0-2 to Devin Peterson leading off the top of the 6th. The 0-2 pitch from Horvath down in the dirt for ball 1. 1-2 the count now to Devin. A fly out in the first, and 3 RBI double in the second. A strikeout in the 4th for Peterson as he leads off here. Top of the 6th, the 1-2 pitch stays high, ball 2. 2-2 the count. Can't wait for football season. Have our team back together. Holden be back in the booth, keeping the stats and on the air with us. The 2-2 pitch. Misses high, ball 3, and a full count now for Devin Peterson.
Boy, that just barely missed.
And hopefully Holden doing good in his classes there at Southwestern University in Georgetown. 3-ball, 2-strike payoff pitch. Peterson hits it to left field. A high fly ball on the run is Owen. And he'll make the catch over his head as the wind's starting to play havoc with that. It's picking up here at the Dell Diamond. And now 1 out here at the top of the inning on an F7 to retire Peterson. That'll bring up number 10, Andrew Nations.
Did you say top 7?
Top of 6. Thought it felt like the 7th as long as this one's gone. We're over 2 hours. But a back and forth ball game. The first pitch to Nations outside for ball 1. Andrew 0 for 3 in the ball game. A fly out, a ground out, and a strikeout on the day for the left fielder, Andrew Nations. AJ, the 1-0 pitch, fouled off the tip of the bat towards the third base dugout. 1-1 now the count. The first inning of the fifth inning was the first inning that neither team scored. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 pitch, and now a 1-2 count to Andrew Nations. Both teams got a runner on base in the inning, but couldn't do anything with it. And now in the top of the sixth, a 5-4 lead for Georgetown. From the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Outside, ball 2, 2-2 now the count. With Riley Leininger on deck for your Georgetown Eagles.
This is the spot you want to be. You got the top of your order in.
2-2 pitch. Nations a fly ball to left field. Owen curls back, settles under it, makes the catch for out number 2. F7 in the book to retire Nations. And that'll bring up Riley Leininger. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Hit by a pitch in the first, singled in the third, hit by a pitch in the fourth. As he steps in here, the base is empty and 2 outs in the top of the sixth inning. Horvath out of the windup, center of the rubber. First pitch to Leininger. Leininger lays off and takes it low and away for ball 1. Reese Herrera on deck. Should Leininger be able to extend the inning? Nope. Reese Herrera is going to come out of the ball game. The 1-0 pitch is on the corner, 1-1. Looks like Braylon Rogers, backup catcher today for your Eagles, on deck. The 1-1 pitch to Leininger, way outside. Ball 2, 2-1 the count.
With this, with this 1-run lead, the Eagle batters can be patient at the plate, wait for a pitch that they can hit early in these counts.
2-1 the pitch to Leininger. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Now the count evens up at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch. Up and in. Ball 3. A full count now to Leininger. Horvath on for his second inning of work in his first inning. Threw 14 pitches, facing 4 batters. Struck out 1. The payoff pitch outside, ball 4. A 2-out walk gives Georgetown a base runner here in the top of the 6th. The first walk issued by Horvath. Only the 3rd walk of the day for Georgetown hitters. And here comes number 40. That's going to be Braylon Rogers, hitting in the catcher's spot in the number 4 hole. Rogers will step in here from the right side with 2 outs and a runner at first. First pitch to Rogers, outside and low, ball 1. Rogers coming back after a surgery in the football season, tore his labrum in his right arm, and now back and fully cleared, catching for the JV team, pulled up to help the varsity out, and is hit by a pitch. You hear the dugout cheering for the called up catcher, Braylon Rogers. He's hit by the pitch. Now 2 runners aboard with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
See if the Eagles can do some 2-out damage again.
And Talon Ball will come out to courtesy run for the catcher, Rogers. So with him coming off the base pass, got to expect he'll go back behind the plate to catch the final couple of innings here.
Sure would like to go into this bottom of this half of this inning with a 2 or 3 run cushion. Make you feel a little bit better.
Hayden Grooms, your DH/pitcher now for your Eagles. He's 1 for 3 on the ball game. A single and a run scored in the second. A fly out and a ground out. Or fly out, a line out. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. 0-1 to count. Runners at first and second. A 2-out walk and a hit by pitch. And runners at first and second. Leininger at second. Talon Ball running for the catcher, Rogers at first. The 0-1 pitch to Grooms, fouled off, back out of play, out of the stadium. 0-2 the count now to Hayden Grooms with Luke Colley on deck. Should he get a chance to bat here in the top of the 6th. 5-4, Georgetown leads it over Round Rock. Horvath out of the stretch, gets the sign from the catcher, also Brooks, comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Grooms swing and a miss on a low pitch down to the dirt for strike 3. And the Eagles are retired here in the top of the sixth. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 5.5 innings, Georgetown 5, Round Rock 4. Eagle baseball continues in a moment.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Longtime supporter of our broadcast, Matt Morrow, and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible. They do that by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including a handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from experienced loan officers. Matt and his team of loan officers understand the local markets, have access to a wide variety of loan programs, and are ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball by First Responder Broadcasting is brought to you by Carissa Bradford, your local Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans, protecting our families since 1952. The mission of Texas Farm Bureau is to help policyholders manage the financial risk of everyday life and successfully recover from insured losses through prompt, professional, personal service based on high ethical standards. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance offers comprehensive insurance policies for auto, home, farm and ranch, commercial, and life. Carissa can help you find the perfect policy to give you peace of mind that you're covered by a trusted and reputable insurer. For all your insurance needs, call Carissa at 512-777-8511 or visit www.tfb-ins.com. A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball.
Called strike to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the sixth for the Dragons. A substitute in. It's Hudson DePriest leading off against Grooms, on for his second inning of work. Takes the 0-1 pitch, and that breaking pitch totally fooled DePriest. And it's a called strike, too, as he bats in the number 5 slot for Dylan Goddard. 0-2 the count to DePriest. Hayden Grooms from the windup, the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out to short. Kiki charges, fields it. The throw across the diamond in time to retire DePriest for out number 1. 6-3 on the putout. Behind the plate, Braylon Rogers defensively comes in for Reese Herrera to catch for the Eagles. And with one out here in the bottom of the sixth, in steps the right fielder, number 14, Jacob Gaiman. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game.
Didn't we find out Braylon's mom is out of town with his sister at a cheer event or something?
Dance event in Houston or Dallas. Said she was coming home. And Jeff said, no, he's not going to play. And here he is, here in the bottom of the sixth defensively. A 1-0 pitch to Gaiman. Misses low and outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count now to the right fielder. Grooms from the first base side of the rubber in the windup. The 2-0 pitch. Stays high through the zone for ball 3. 3-0 now the count. The 3-0 pitch. And that misses for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Jacob Gaiman. Has a 1-out base runner on board for the Dragons here in the bottom of the sixth. And that'll bring up number 8, Luke Owen.
First batter was very efficient with the pitching. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Now 4 pitches and a walk.
Gaiman down at first, held on by Leininger as Grooms moves to the stretch. Peak at first base, the first pitch to Owen. Stays inside for ball 1. Rogers came in at the top of the inning to bat, was hit by the pitch, reaching first base. Now in defensively behind the plate for Georgetown. Grooms will get the sign from Rogers. Comes set in the stretch, a quick throw to first. Gaiman dives back in safely there. 5-4, Georgetown leads it here in the bottom of the sixth. Grooms comes set in the stretch, a 1-out base runner at first base. Another throw over, and if that throws lower, it may have been an out for Gaiman there. at first base, but the throw a little bit up, so Leininger had to grab it and try to apply the tag. Left-handed hitting Luke Owen steps back in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Hit by a pitch and scored a run in the third. Struck out looking in the fourth. Another throw over, and that one may have got him. Oh, just under the tag. Nice pickoff move there by Grooms.
He's taking a large lead over there, and Grooms has done a good job. Almost got him on that last one especially.
Grooms will come set in the stretch. A 1-0 count to Luke Owen. The 1-0 pitch. That hits him. So now a 1 out with 2 base runners on as Gaiman moves up to second base. Luke Owen down to first on the hit by pitch. Fourth batter hit by Eagle pitchers today. There's now another substitute pinch hitter in here for the Dragons. This will be Kai Woldridge, number 17. So he'll come in to hit for Luke Kimstead. He went in defensively in the top of the inning. And he'll come in here to hit for the Dragons from the right side. Let's see here. Kai Woldridge, 6 foot, 230-pound senior. Step in from the right side. Runners on first and second, 1 out is Grooms. The first pitch to Woolridge. The breaking pitch is in there for a called strike, slowly but surely.
Wouldn't be surprised to see these runners on the move because you've got a brick wall-sized human being batting in the right-hand batter's box, so the catcher will have to go around him to make a throw.
Grooms, the 0-1 pitch. Chopped foul. Looked like a foul ball. They're going to say no, he swung at it. It went off the glove of Rogers. I thought it was fouled off the way it shot to the right. And now both runners move into scoring position at second and third base. An 0-2 count to Kai Woldridge batting here in the bottom of the 6th. For the Dragons. Grooms comes set. The 0-2 pitch. The breaking pitch stays high through the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. A 1-out walk to Gabin. Hit by a pitch of Luke Owen, and runners have moved up on the pass ball. To second and third, a 1-2 count to Kai Woldridge, pinch hitting here. That one's low and away. Ball 2, 2-2 the count.
At this point in the ball game, you just got to attack the strike zone.
Don't want to give up any runs. Leading by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Grooms comes set. The 2-2 pitch. The breaking pitch inside corner just misses.
Oh.
Wow. 1, how do you lay off? 2, how do you not call strike 3 on that one? A beautiful pitch from Hayden Grooms, and now a full count with 1 out and runners at second and third. Grooms comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch and a line drive hit down the third base line. It's down for extra bases, and that'll score 2 runs. And Woldridge around first. He's headed to second. A 2 RBI double for the base hit for the first baseman, Kai Woldridge. Pulled out the wedge and put it on the green. Good piece of hitting there by Woldridge, and now you dance around and have to throw him a good pitch on a full count. He drives it down the third baseline for a 2 RBI double, and Round Rock takes the lead back 6-5.
Seems like the pitching for Georgetown today is uncharacteristically struggling, and Round Rock has taken full advantage of it to take the lead now here in the bottom of the 6th.
But now the 1-out walk, a hit by pitch, those cost you as the double by Woldridge. The first pitch to Hank Apple is outside for ball 1. One 1-0 the count to Apple. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner called strike 1. 1-1 now the count to the number 9 hitter, Hank Apple, for the Dragons.
That's a train. Sounded like a jet.
The 1-1 pitch misses for ball 2. 2-1. Our crowd mic is not faulty. It's a train going by in the background here at the Dell Diamond. There it is. 2-1 the count to Hank Apple. Fouls it off back to the screen. 2-2 now the count. 1 out, 2 runs across here in the inning. A runner at second base. A 6-5 lead for the Dragons here in the bottom of the 6th. So 2 innings in a row, they didn't put up any runs. And they answered with 2 here in the bottom of the 6th to take the lead back, 6-5. Grooms comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch to Apple. High for ball 3. 3-2 the count now. Top of the lineup due up for the Dragons. After Apple, back to Hudson Ellis it will go.
If this is an express game, they'd be playing a little Johnny Cash right now.
I hear the train
run.
Exactly.
It's rolling round the bend.
The payoff pitch to Apple. Fouled off, back out of play. Stays alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Here at the bottom of the 6th, 2 runs across. A 6-5 lead for the Dragons. 1 at-bat remaining for the Eagles in the top of the 7th. As they will have 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up. The payoff pitch. Low, ball 4. Another walk as runners at first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. 8th walk of the day by Eagle pitchers to go along with 4 hit by pitches. That's a lot of free bases. You find yourself down by 1. Here comes Hudson Ellis, the number 1 hitter in the lineup. Hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 1st. Reached on an error in the 2nd. Struck out looking in the 3rd and flew out to right in the 5th. He is 0 for 3 in the ball game. Grooms comes set with runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 out. First pitch to Ellis. In there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. 5th plate appearance in 6 innings for the leadoff man, Hudson Ellis. Woldridge down at 2nd after the 2 RBI double. Hank Apple down at 1st with the 1-out walk. The 0-1 pitch to Ellis. Lays off and takes the breaking pitch in there for a called strike. 0-2 the count.
He needs to shoot this down to third base for a little 5-2, 5-3 double play. That'd be fine with me.
Ellis back in for the right side. Grooms a look at 2nd. The 0-2 pitch. Stays high for ball 1. 1-2 now. To the leadoff man, Hudson Ellis. With number 28 on deck, Aiden Ihorn. The 1-2 pitch. Oh, fighting off swing there by Ellis. Fouls it off. Back out of play down the first baseline. I think he was expecting that big breaking ball again, and he fought it off. Count remains 1-2. Grooms comes set. A look at 2nd base. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled back out of play again. Ellis continues to battle.
He's choked up on that bat now. He's just trying to put something in play.
I'd love for it to be a ground ball. The Eagles turn 2 and get out of this. Ellis back in for the right side. Grooms comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Ellis down the third baseline but pulls it foul. Count remains 1-2. Woldridge was off, the big man. 6 foot, 230-pound senior got his motor going there. He was rounding 3rd, ready to head home. Just a foul ball and a 1-2 count now. Ellis choked up. The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out to short. A chance for 2 here. Kiki to Lawrence at 2nd for 1. But unable to turn it there. Kiki unable to get out his glove quick enough.
Hard slide. Legal slide.
But the out at 2nd. Woldridge moves up to 3rd base. Apple erased at 2nd on 6-4. And Ellis reaches on the fielder's choice. So runners on the corners with 2 outs. And that'll bring up number 28, Aiden Ihorn, 6'3", 189-pound junior. Bats from the right side in his pinch hit here at the bottom of the 6th. Grooms comes set. First pitch, the runner off to 2nd. Ball down in the dirt. Rogers keeps it close. It's ball 1. To Ihorn. Eyhorn. The spelling of Ihorn's last name. The 1-0 pitch stays high for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Another pinch hitter on deck for the Dragons. Should Ihorn extend the inning? The 2-0 pitch up and in for ball 3. Three and 0 the count to the pinch hitter, Aiden Ihorn. The 3-0 pitch from Grooms. Outside corner called strike 1. 3-1 with 2 outs. Runners on second and third from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. Breaking pitch stays inside. Ball 4. The base is loaded again for the Dragons now.
That's the broken record. Bases loaded. They've had them juiced many times in this ball game.
So a 2-out walk. 9th of the ball game for Eagle pitching. And here comes number 32. He's not on our roster we had earlier in this season, but if we go to the scorecard from the coach, it's going to be Quinn Bartlett. He'll take the first pitch for a called strike. 0-1 to count. He hits in the number 3 slot for the catcher, also Brooks. He grounds this one out to third. Holly up with it to throw across the diamond, down in the dirt, gets away from Leininger. That'll score 2 more runs, and runners up to second at base. The error on Holly at third puts across the third and fourth runs of the inning, and the score now is broken open to an 8-5 lead for the Dragons with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. So Bartlett reaches on the error. Moves up to second base on that same error.
Another little uncharacteristic aspect today for the Eagles is 4 errors on the board. Usually pretty solid on the defensive side, but struggled a little bit today. I wonder if the wetness of the field has played any into that, but that throw was just too short and skipped in and couldn't be corralled.
And also you think at that play that maybe you go to second base on it, you step on the bag at third, whatever it may be, but the long throw across the diamond had to be hurried, and it was down in the dirt. Dunch hits a squibber to first base. Leininger will field it and take it himself for out number 3, but the damage is done here in the bottom of the 6th by the Dragons. They get 4 runs, and Kelly, it's going to be hard to believe, but they do it on 1 hit in the inning. A lot of walks and hit by pitch has given free bases to the Dragons. They take advantage and put up a 4 spot and lead it 8-5 after 6 innings. Quick timeout. Eagle baseball will back in the top of the 7th here at the Dell Diamond in just a moment.
Mayhan Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's JENNY.MAHAN@cbunited.com.
To the top of the 7th inning. Colton Crutchfield will come in to pinch hit. In the 6th slot for Luke Holly against the new pitcher. He'll take the first pitch for a ball, 1-0 the count to Colton Crutchfield. The new pitcher is number 12, Ethan Smith, the 5'11", 160-pound junior, right-handed pitcher for the Dragons. Crutchfield, the 1-0 pitch, inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count.
Now you got to be really patient at the plate. Got to have base runners.
Crutchfield, 6'2", 180-pound junior from the right side, steps back in. The 2-0 pitch from Smith is in there for a called strike. 2-1 the count now. Eagles down to their final 3 outs here in the ballgame, trailing by 3, 8-5 after giving up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 6th. The 2-1 pitch, Crutchfield takes it for called strike 2, 2-2 the count. Ethan Smith, not a big fella, 5'11", 160, but throwing the heat here in the top of the 7th for the Dragons. From the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Crutchfield fouls it off, stays alive in the at-bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Mad dash for that ball with 0 people leaving their seats.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Crutchfield. Pitch hitting here in the top of the 7th, the 2-2 pitch. Crutchfield takes it high, ball 3. Full count now to Crutchfield. On deck for the Eagles. We'll see who it is. It'll be Jackson Rainey back in. Smith from the windup. The payoff pitch to Crutchfield. Crutchfield takes it low and in the dirt. Ball 4. A leadoff walk. Nice at bat there by Crutchfield.
And that's what you need.
Get that leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 7th. Jackson Rainey back in now to hit here in the top of the 7th.
Call time because the bullpen guys are stuff on the ground.
Dragging it around. It's Coach Vieira tells him to hurry up.
And they picked up the pace, not one. Pitchers.
The long run from the bullpen out in right center field. In steps Jackson Rainey, the left-handed hitting right fielder. Smith moves to the stretch. First pitch to Rainey. About 4 feet short at home plate. Off the chest protector of also Brooks, and a quick timeout from head coach John Carter as he runs out there to talk to his junior right-hander. For the Dragons today on the mound, first 2 innings pitched by Isaac Rodriguez. He gave up 3 runs on 3 hits through 35 pitches, walked 1, hit 2 batters. Second pitcher was Carter Hughes. He went 2 innings, 44 pitches, 2 runs on 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, and 2 balks. And then Josh Horvath in relief for the 5th and 6th innings through 36 pitches. Struck out 2, walked 1, hit 1, did not allow a hit or a run for Georgetown. And now Ethan Smith works here at the top of the 7th for the Dragons.
I'm sure Round Rock's coach went out there telling him, don't worry about that base runner.
He does not matter. A 1-0 pitch to Rainey. Low for ball 2. 2-0 the count now to Jackson Rainey on deck. Cord Lawrence, the second baseman for the Eagles. No outs and a runner at first, being held on by Wooldridge. Smith comes set in the stretch, the 2-0 pitch. That one's on the outside corner for a called strike. 2-1 the count to Jackson Rainey. Georgetown next in action on Tuesday night at home at Eagle Field. It's senior night against the Bastrop Bears. And the Eagles look to stay undefeated in district play. The 2-1 pitch. Rainey takes it high for ball 3. 3-1 the count. So the junior right-hander, he does rear back and throw it for the Dragons, but finding the strike zone has been the trouble here. It's a leadoff walk, and now a 3-1 count to the hitter Jackson Rainey. The 3-1 pitch. That one's in there for a called strike. Full count now to Rainey. Going to get a chin strap on that hat as it keeps coming off of Ethan Smith every time he throws the ball. 3-2 count now with no outs and a runner at first. The payoff pitch to Rainey. The runner off and running. Rainey chops it out in front of the mound. Smith will throw to first, and now Crutchfield will go all the way around to third. Heads up base running there by Colton Crutchfield. So Rainey chops out 1-3 on the putout for out number 1, but Colton Crutchfield got around to third base on that play, and now Cord Lawrence will step in with 1 out and a runner at third base. That run really doesn't mean anything. You're down by 3. So you just got to get on base. Base runners needed here by the Eagles. Jack Kiki, the shortstop, on deck for Georgetown here in the top of the 7, trailing by 3, 8-5.
Kind of surprised their outfielders are playing so shallow.
First pitch to Lawrence is in there for a called strike. Heard Coach John Carter yelling as Woldridge had come into the grass at first base. He said, don't worry about the hitter or the base runner. Just get the outs. The 0-1 pitch. Down low in the dirt for ball 1 to Cord Lawrence. Lawrence 1 for 3 on the day. Struck out in the second, a single and a run scored in the 4th, a strikeout in the 5th. As he stands in here with 1 out and a runner at third in the top of the 7th. Smith comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch to Lawrence. Stays high through the zone. Ball 2. 2-1 to count now to Cord.
I was just talking about how shallow they're playing. You don't want to give up any extra base hits. And they're playing so shallow right now, it wouldn't take a lot for it to get over the head of one of these outfielders and wind up with extra bases.
The 1-2-1 pitch. Down low in the dirt. Nice block by also Brooks. 3-1 to count to Cord. Or you talk about a line drive to the gaps or down the lines like we've seen earlier. Balls that were hit down the third baseline end up being triples because the left fielder had a long run playing in at the depth that they're playing. You get a line drive to the left center, right center field gaps, or down the lines, Kelly. It's going to be an extra base situation there. So it's surprising they don't take 5 or 10 steps back and let the singles fall. That is going to be ball 4 on the 3-1 pitch to Cord Lawrence. And now 2 men aboard with 1 out. Second walk by Ethan Smith. Nobody up. Yep, somebody is up in the bullpen for the Dragons out in left center field. As Jack Kiki steps in, he's 1 for 2. Reese Wolf, the left-handed pitcher, up in the bullpen for the Dragons. 2 runners on first and third with 1 out here in the top of the 7. Kiki back in for the right side. The first pitch to Kiki is high for ball 1.
I don't know how long Coach Carter is going to go with him struggling to find a strike zone like he is right now. You got the tie and run at the plate.
Kiki 1 for 2 in the ball game. Walked and a run scored in the second. An RBI triple in the 4th. The yo-yo in effect. No dice there. Cord Lawrence read that one. Was back standing easily at first base. Now everyone resets. 1 ball, no strikes to Jack Kiki, the number 9 hitter for Georgetown. Runners on the corners with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. The 1-0 pitch. Down in the dirt. Nice block by the catcher. Also Brooks. 2-0 the count.
I'm guessing similar to what we saw against Eastview the other night, they're going to be waiting for that first strike before they start getting ready to swing now, because you've got to have the base runners.
And especially with 2 walks and 3 batters faced by Ethan Smith. The 2-0 pitch to Kiki. That one's inside, ball 3. Oh, my goodness.
He called that a strike?
I think everybody in the stands thought it was a ball as well. Even the Round Rock fans were like, oh, a strike. 2-1 the count to Kiki. Smith comes set, the 2-1 pitch. Down the pipe for a called strike 2.
That was a strike.
That first strike called there, the pitch prior almost hit Kiki, was up and in, been called a ball most of the day. And now a 2-2 count with 1 out and runners on the corners for Jack Kiki, the shortstop. Smith comes set, the 2-2 pitch. Kiki fouls it off back to the screen, stays alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Georgetown trails by 3. 5 runs, 6 hits, 4 errors for the Eagles. 8 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Dragons. Runners on the corners with 1 out here in the top of the 7th, the 2-2 count. Kiki ready to go. Smith, the 2-2 pitch. Up high, off the glove of the catcher, and here comes Colton Crutchfield. He'll score the 6th run of the ball game. And Cord Lawrence moves up to second base. A 3-2 count now to Kiki. So the first run across that the Eagles need to cut it back to a 2-run deficit, 8-6. And that's going to be a wild pitch on Ethan Smith. And a full count now as Cord Lawrence cruises up to second base after his walk. He advances on that same wild pitch that scores Crutchfield from third. As also Brooks walks out, talks to his pitcher, Ethan Smith. Now Coach Carter.
There's a phone in the dugout, Coach.
Coach Carter calling for his pitcher that had been warming up out in the outfield, number 6, Reese Wolf, to head into the dugout. So now what goes through the mind of the pitcher there on the mound, Ethan Smith? Hey, here comes my relief if I can't find the strike zone and get it out. And what goes through the head of Jack Kiki? What's going on in the pitcher's head? I've got a full count at the plate. I'm an important runner that needs to get on base. I represent the tying run here in the ball game. We'll see what goes into effect as Wolf finds the dugout. Smith comes set in the stretch. Kiki ready to go. The payoff pitch to Jack Kiki. Strike, foul tip, strike 3 into the glove of the catcher. Also Brooks for out number 2. First strikeout for Ethan Smith, only the 6th of the ball game for Dragon pitchers, but a big second out, and we go to the top of the lineup, and Devin Peterson. Peterson, a 3 RBI double in the second, is 1 for 4 in the ball game. 2 flyouts and a strikeout as well. Steps in for the right side, Ethan Smith. Comes set in the stretch. Lawrence off second. The first pitch to Peterson is high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Devin Peterson. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. The Eagles down to their final out. Peterson represents the tying run at the plate. Smith comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Devin. Devin chops it foul down the third baseline. Coach Vieira just gives it a glance as it goes over to the dugout. And now he's going to race Coach Carter for it.
You can't risk injury over there in that third base coach's box.
1-1 the count to Devin with 2 outs. Great opportunity for these guys to play a ball game here at the Dell Diamond. Their journey begins in the playoffs in 2 weeks. The 1-1 pitch to Peterson. Takes it up and in. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. To the senior center fielder, Andrew Nations on deck for your Eagles. Should Peterson be able to extend this ball game? Smith comes set in the stretch. Peterson ready in the box. The 2-1 pitch. Check swing. Strike 2 on the outside corner. 2-2 now the count. The Eagles down to their final strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. 8-6. Round Rock leads it by 2. Cord Lawrence leads off second base. Peterson back in for the right side as Ethan Smith, the pitcher, comes set in the stretch. A look at second, the 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3, full count now. Good pitch there by Ethan Smith. Right off the outside corner for a ball. But a good spot to miss on the 2-2 count to Devin Peterson.
Was not a pitch that Peterson was looking for, so if it hits the strike zone, he'll go down looking.
And now, full count to Peterson with 2 outs. Smith comes set, the payoff pitch. Up and in, ball 4. No, my! The home plate umpire has a date to get to, and he ends the ball game there on a called third strike on a high inside pitch for out number 3, and the Dragons win it 8-6 over your Georgetown Eagles. Quick timeout. We'll come back and wrap it up. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. We're back live here at the Dell Diamond. Your Georgetown Eagles fall 8-6 to the Round Rock Dragons in a good ball game here at the Dell Diamond. Your Eagles 18-10-1 on the year now, 12-0 in district play. Their 13-game win streak comes to a close. The Round Rock Dragons advanced to 21-9 on the year, and they have a 12-game win streak now, and they look to win a district title on Tuesday night as they play the Vista Ridge Rangers at Round Rock. The winner of that will be the number 1 seed out of District 25 in 6A Region 4, and a co-championship if Vista Ridge wins. If Round Rock wins, they're the outright champions of District 25 in 6A baseball. Georgetown, we know they are the district champions and will be the number 1 seed, but they have unfinished business as they want to check that box of going undefeated in the district, and they will play Bastrop at Georgetown on Tuesday night, at senior night, and then on the road Friday. They'll take on the Bears at Bastrop on Lovers Lane there in Bastrop, Texas, at the new complex on the full turf field at Bastrop for their final district ball game. But a tough loss here today, Kelly, and we looked at it just before we came back on. 4 errors on the defense for the Eagles, 14 runners left on base, 13 free passes being 9 walks and 4 hit by pitch. You give them that many opportunities to score runs, you're surprised it's only 8 on the board.
Several of these runs by Round Rock were unearned runs, and that's the mistakes by the Eagles' defense today and the pitching that was struggling throughout the day. So, Georgetown came in on, 12-game win streak, and you might need that little nudge to get you back focused to play that solid baseball that we're used to seeing the Eagles play.
3 competitive games in a row. A Tuesday night tilt with Eastview that went 10 innings. They won it 3-2 in the 10th inning. And then a walk-off win in the bottom of the 7th against Eastview, 2-1 last night. And then a tough ball game against a good 6A opponent in the Round Rock Dragons that are on a 12-game win streak of their own. They have righted their wrongs earlier in the season. They had a rough tilt starting out. They were sitting there 13-7 at home, 6-2 on the road, 1-0 at neutral sites. Georgetown falls to 2-3 at a neutral site. But more importantly, they've got some good game experience in this last week of baseball, these 3 games this week. In what you're going to see in the playoffs, you're going to see better pitching, you're going to see better hitting, you're going to see better ball teams after you get out of that district. And so an opportunity here for this team to learn and to grow, even though you go to your third arm out of the bullpen, out of the dugout, and then some arms that you're going to see in relief and going to need into the playoffs. So some good experience there, but a tough loss that you go 8-6 knowing that you gave a lot away in 9 walks, 4 hit batters, and 4 errors defensively that you're not going to see through district play for this Eagle team.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, it's going to be most, if not all, 3-game series, so you've got to have 3 solid starting pitchers, and I think that's part of what Coach Vieira was trying to sort through today to find out who that third guy is going to be.
Is it going to be Devin Peterson? Is it going to be Hagen Tate? Is it Aiden Grooms going to come out of the bullpen and be one of those relievers to go? You've also got your closer in Luke Holly that's done a good job on the year pitching out of the bullpen. You've got your David Fluitt and Leininger thought process that they're going to be your 2 big arms to go. But you look at your pitching lineup, you've got Cooper Ashby out of the dugout. That's done a great job. Andrew Nations is another arm. Jack Kiki is only throwing an inning in district play, but he's done his job in his 9 1/3 innings on the year as well. So there's plenty of arms out there. Who's that third starter that today you saw a lot of out of Devin Peterson? As he struggled through walking 3 batters, hitting 2 batters. Then Hagen Tate comes in for 2 2/3 innings, walking 3, hitting 1 as well. But, at the time when the pressure comes, when these kids get it up and going, what's the situation today in that pressure here? Then when you get into the playoffs and go to a 3rd game, and how much you have to get out there and perform. The Georgetown Eagles lose it 8-6 to the Round Rock Dragons. Thanks to the Dell Diamond and the staff here that work for the Round Rock Express. So accommodating, so gracious in everything to make this possible so we can bring you this game live today from the Dell Diamond. For Kelly Duvall, I'm Wally Harmon. The Eagles will play Tuesday night at home, senior night. Come out, support your Georgetown Eagles. Kelly Duvall will be listening live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We'll leave it there. You may not be in Minneapolis itself.
I will be.
We'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota to watch, but we'll have the call live from Eagle Field on Tuesday night. 7 o'clock is the first pitch. We'll go live a little bit early so we can bring you the senior activities to honor the seniors on this baseball team on Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us live here for the Dell Diamond. For Kelly Duvall, I'm Wally Harmon. The Eagles fall 8-6 to the Round Rock Dragons to drop to 18-10-1 on the season. Tuesday, we'll have the call, 6:30 live for pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch. Thanks for joining us. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good weekend, everybody.